We may proceed. First order.
Order number 1, administration of oath. Order number 2, communication from the chair. Order number 3, messages. Order number 4, petitions. Order number 5, papers.
Honorable Speaker, I beg to lay the following papers on the table of the House today, Wednesday, November 13th, 2024, in this morning sitting. Number 1, session of paper number 7 of 2024 on National Sanitation Management Policy from the Ministry of Water, Sanitation and Irrigation. Number 2, reports of the Auditor General and financial statements for the years ended 30th June 2021, 30th June 2022, 30th June 2023, and the certificates therein in respect of A, St. Mary's School, Yala, B, Maseno School, and C, Nakuru Girls School. 3, the reports of the Auditor General and financial statements on Green Climate Fund Readiness Project from the years ended 30th June 2023, 30th June 2024, and the certificates therein. And finally, the report of the Auditor General and financial statement on Green Climate Fund Readiness Project for the year ended 30th June 2023, and the certificates therein. I beg to lay.
Thank you. Next order.
Order number 6, notices of motion. Order number 7, questions and statements.
Okay, the Honorable Member for Dagoretti North. Honorable Beatrice Ilachi.
Thank you, Madam Speaker. Madam Speaker, I rise to request for a statement regarding a botched cosmetic surgery resulting in the death of a patient. Honorable Speaker, pursuant to the provisions of Standing Order 44.2c, I rise to request for a statement from the chairperson of the Departmental Committee on Health regarding a botched
Honorable Bukose, this is addressed to you. Honorable Bukose, that statement is addressed to you as chairperson for health, so you may pay attention.
Honorable Speaker, pursuant to the provisions of Standing Order 44.2c, I rise to request for a statement of the chairperson of the Departmental Committee on Health regarding a botched cosmetic surgery resulting in the death of Ms. Lucy Nganga at the Omnicare Medical Services in Lavington, Nairobi. Honorable Speaker, Ms. Lucy Nganga, a social media influencer, recently underwent a cosmetic surgery at Omnicare Medical Clinic, also known as Body by Design. She was discharged on 18th October 2024, but later experienced health issues at home. Upon returning to the clinic for a follow-up, she was referred to another hospital where she underwent additional surgery. Tragically, Ms. Wamboi passed away at the ICU 4 days later, allegedly due to complications from the surgery procedure. Honorable Speaker, despite the rising popularity of cosmetic and reconstructive surgery, this is not the first instance in which a woman has either lost her life or suffered complications due to the surgical mishaps. During such procedures, many clinics promote these services through appealing online advertisements showcasing a wide range of cosmetic options such as breast enlargement and reduction, leg shaping or augmentation, hair restoration treatments, among others. Of concern, the facility was purportedly closed soon after the botched surgery, raising questions on whether it was operating legally. Honorable Speaker, in light of this situation, I seek a statement from the chairperson of the Departmental on Health regarding the following. Confirmation of whether body by design was duly registered by the Kenya Medical Practitioners and Dentists Council and the specific medical services it offers. Qualifications of the doctors who conducted the procedures on Ms. Mutembei. Measures taken to ensure quality assurance and adherence to professional standards by clinic and similar facilities countrywide, and measures being implemented to prevent similar incidents in the future. I thank you, Honorable Speaker.
Yeah, Honorable Rachel Mai, you have an intervention?
Thank you very much, Honorable Speaker. I would like to support the statement that is raised by the Honorable B.T. Selachi. Honorable Speaker, when this Committee on Health, which is led by the Honorable Dr. Pukose, who is a surgeon, Honorable Speaker, they need to ensure that Kenyans get a list of doctors who can do these cosmetic surgeries without endangering people's lives. Honorable Speaker, many people are suffering. They have gone to these doctors, and it's a contemporary way of dealing with aging, Honorable Speaker. And as Kenyans, we cannot bury our heads in the sand and say that it is not happening. It is happening, Honorable Speaker, and as a response to this statement by the Honorable Elachi, I would like to ask Honorable Dr. Pukose whether it is possible for the Ministry of Health to have a list of the best doctors and work with the county government of Nairobi to identify even the spaces where they can be found. So thank you very much, Honorable Speaker, for giving me a chance to comment.
Honorable Pukose, as chairperson of the Committee on Health.
Thank you, Honorable Speaker. Honorable Speaker, it is very unfortunate that we have some mushrooming clinics and offering services that they are not accredited to offer. Because apparently, when you talk about breast augmentation, reduction, and other cosmetic surgeries, it needs to be done by people who are qualified, and that facility must be registered and accredited by the Kenya Medical Practitioners and Dentists Council. And therefore, we were going to hold the Kenya Medical Practitioners and Dentists Council accountable because that is their responsibility. And they must be able to be lean on, because many unsuspecting Kenyans will end up going to some of these facilities unknowingly and then end up being mismanaged and with loss of life. So this is very regrettable, and Honorable Speaker will look into the matter and will be able to bring the response to the House in 2 weeks' time. Thank you, Honorable Speaker.
Thank you. Next, there is a question to be answered by the chairperson of the Committee for Trade, Industry and Cooperatives. I think the question had been raised by the Honorable John Kiaria, member for Dagoretti South. Honorable Kakuya.
Thank you, Madam Speaker. And I am ready to respond the question, the response to a request for a statement by Hon John Kerry, MP member for the Dagoretti South constituency, regarding the renewal of standardization mark of quality quality from Kenya Bureau of Standards. Madam Speaker, the response is as follows. Madam Speaker, allow me from the onset to take this opportunity to thank you for this opportunity to respond to a request for a statement by Hon John Kerry, MP member for the Dagoretti South constituency, regarding the renewal of the standardization mark of quality from Kenya Bureau of Standards. The honourable member expects the statement sought to respond to underlisted specific issues. 1. The rationale behind extending the validity period for the standardization mark and the impact of these on product quality and fair competition, especially for SMEs. 2. The justification for imposing back pay penalties on business restarting after COVID-19 related shutdowns. And third, measures the Ministry of Investment, Trade and Industry is taking to ensure the regulatory environment support SMEs in economic recovery rather than penalizing these recovering business. Madam Speaker, as a way of introduction, I wish to state as follows, that Kenya Bureau of Standards, KEBS, is a state agency under the Ministry of Investment, Trade and Industry. It was established under the Standard Act, Cap 496 of the laws of Kenya, with the mandate of promoting the standardization of the specification of commodities and to provide for the standardization of commodities and codes of practice. To fulfill these mandates, Kenya Bureau of Standards coordinates the development of standards, operates product certification programs, tests products and materials, inspects imported goods and other matters. A standardization mark scheme, which is a mandatory product certification scheme for locally manufactured products provided for under Section 10 of the Standard Act Cap 496 laws of Kenya. Madam Speaker, having stated the above, I wish to respond to specific issues raised by Hon. Member for Parliament for Dagoretti South as follows. Question 1. The rationale behind extending the validity period for the standardization mark and the impact of these on product quality and fair competition, especially for SME standards, commissions, and carried out a comprehensive internal review of the standardization scheme. The review aimed at looking at the success, challenges, and opportunities for improvement. It culminated to a report named around improving quality, efficiency, and ease of doing business. The review established that among KEBS was not able to process the applications within the turnaround time in customer service charter. The effect of this is that current businesses and market supply chains, by extension, were disrupted, leading to loss of business opportunities and undue shortages of the respective goods. KEBS therefore revised the validity period to 2 years, while putting mitigation measures in place to ensure product quality is maintained and probably improved. B. The impact of extending validity period, especially for SMEs. Madam Speaker, it follows that with the extension of the validity period of the standardization mark was bound to have either positive or negative impacts, especially on product quality and fair business practices. That being the case, KEBS was well prepared to deal with the two aspects and any other matter that would have cropped up. Product quality. The main objective of increasing the validity period of the standardization mark permits from 1 year to 2 years was to reduce disruption of business occasioned by administrative and logistical issues associated with permit renewal processes. Fair competition. The decision that annual fees would remain the same and be paid for 2 years upfront at the time of renewal applies across the board for both large firms and SMEs. However, SMEs continue to enjoy preferential treatment whereby a payment of Kenya shillings 10,000 covers up for 3 products, while their counterparts classified as large firms would be paying up to Kenya shillings 85 shillings for the same 3 products. products. Question 2. The justification for improving back pay penalties on business restarting after COVID-19 related shutdowns. Madam Speaker, imposing to back pay charges, not penalties on business has been a policy in 2008. The justification for this is that some businesses would want to delay renewal of permits while continue to display the mark. To enable cabs to defray overhead cost of administrating the scheme, it becomes necessary that full payment is made from the time the permit expired. However, cabs is aware that there could have been a stoppage of manufacturing for economic reasons or other reasons. In such cases, the policy of cabs is clear that manufacturers only need to make formal communication to cabs to that effect, and not such changes will accrue. COVID-19 presented unique and presented socio-economic challenges, while cabs had put in place temporary measures to mitigate the challenges as per government policy. cabs acknowledges that some of the effects have lingered long after the pandemic or just taken new forms. Considering the above, cabs has been granting waivers to SMEs who present requests in writing and have demonstrated closure of operations. In such cases, the SMEs are allowed to apply for the standardization mark and are only charged the application fees without any arrears. Madam Speaker, let me go to the last question, question 3. Measuring the Ministry of Investment, Trade and Industry meeting is taking to ensure the regulatory environment support SMEs in economic recovery, rather penalizing these recovering business. Initiatives to support SMEs. Madam Speaker, the Ministry of Investment, Trade and Industries has put in place comprehensive measures to support SMEs. The State Department for Industry, through Kenya Bill of Standards, has continued to support SMEs through the following: training and coaching of SMEs through the National Quality Institute. 2. Dissemination of Kenya standards to SMEs through physical workshops, online webinars, and in-house coaching during factory assessments. 3. Incubation program that allows SMEs to be trained on compliance to standards. Development of quality control records, product packaging, and labeling. 4. KEP strategic plan for the year 2003-2007 has committed to support SMEs through capacity building. 5. Recognizing the critical roles undertaken by the Business Association, KEBS has been working with Kenya Association of Manufacturers and Kenya National Federation of Jiwakari Associations in supporting SMEs. 6. KEBS has been collaborating with other agencies, e.g. Kenya Industrial Research Development Institute, KIRUDI, Public Health, Kenya Industrial Property Institute, KIPI, and Counterfeit Authority, Micro, Small and Small Enterprises Authority, MOSEA, among others, to undertake capacity building in support of SMEs. The Ministry, 7, the Ministry in support of SME has been on the forefront on supporting SMEs through the Biashara centers with operational offices at Kariobangi, Mombasa, Kisumu, Eldoret, and Bungoma. The Ministry has opened and operationalized these centers in Kariobangi, Mombasa, Kisumu, Eldoret, and Bungoma, with a specific focus on addressing the unique needs of MSMEs. Studies offered to MSE sector as intervention measures. The ministry, through Kenya Bureau of Standards, has supported SMEs through subsidizing the certification fees. The cost of certification for a large manufacturing enterprise manufacturing one product is Kenya shillings 55,000. In supporting SMEs, KEBS certifies these 3 products manufactured by SMEs at a cost of Kenya shillings 10,000. KEBS has costs associated to testing as well as respective administrative and logistic overheads are absorbed by the organization. Through this subsidy, SMEs can place their products into the market at discounted charges as compared to large enterprises. The Kenya Bill of Standards has been supporting the SME sector, and other support programs include training and advisory services offered through the National Quality Institute. Madam Speaker, I have attached a comprehensive statement by Hon Salim Mvurya, EGA's Cabinet Secretary, Ministry of Investment, Trade and Industry, for transmission to the honorable member. Thank you, and I beg to table.
Honorable KJ, is Honorable KJ in the house? Because he's the one who asked the question. Okay, he's not here. So we can proceed to the next order.
Order number 8, procedural motion. Reduction of publication period of specified bills.
Majority Leader. Your procedural motion.
Thank you, Honorable Speaker. Honorable Speaker, I beg to move that pursuant to the provision of Standing Order 120, this House resolves to reduce the publication period of the following bills from 14 days to 12 days in order to facilitate public and stakeholder engagement. 1, the Public Finance Management Amendment Number 3 Bill, National Assembly Bill Number 44 of 2024. 2, the Public Finance Management Amendment Number 4 Bill, National Assembly Bill Number 45 of 2024. 3, the Tax Procedures Amendment Number 2 Bill, National Assembly Bill Number 46 of 2024. 4, the Tax Laws Amendment Bill, National Assembly Bill Number 47 of 2024. 5, the Public Procurement and Asset Disposal Amendment Bill, National Assembly Bill Number 48 of 2024. And 6, the Business Laws Amendment Bill, National Assembly Bill Number 49 of 2024. Honorable Speaker, for information to members and the country, these 6 bills, Honorable Speaker, are very important bills to us and to the country. Honorable Speaker, you are aware that there are many very progressive proposals, including the tax amnesty that Kenyans were waiting for at the end of the last financial year, the tax amnesty that lapsed on the 30th of June. Honorable Speaker, with the loss of the finance bill, some of the good proposals that were there, like that tax amnesty, have evaded Kenyans, and quite a number of business people are suffering from incessant demands by KRA for both their tax arrears and penalties and interest. And therefore, Honorable Speaker, some of the proposals include that tax amnesty bill in this tax procedures amendment bill. Others deal with the public finance management and public procurement. The business laws, Honorable Speaker, also carry very crucial amendments to many business laws, Honorable Speaker, especially in the manufacturing industry, that will facilitate the local manufacture, local production of goods locally. Therefore, Honorable Speaker, if we are not able to reduce the publication period of these bills, we may not be able to conclude with their enactment before the end of this session on the 5th of December, according to our calendar. Therefore, we want to reduce the publication period by just 2 days so that we may begin. Honorable Speaker, if you can protect me from the Honorable Pukose. He's louder than me on the mic.
Because,
I know he's eager to put the question.
The majority leader is giving a very good explanation from some serious amendments. I think it's important to allow members to pay attention.
Honorable Speaker, I was saying thank you for that protection. I was saying, Honorable Speaker, in view of our scheduled calendar, we are to progress or to proceed on the long recess on the 5th of December, and we want to avoid a situation where we have to recall members for a special sitting, and also save especially those business people who have now to deal with KRA on matters of tax amnesty, at least to have this tax amnesty in place before the end of this year, so that they may not continue accruing interest and penalties, and therefore would want to see the enactment of all these bills before the end of this financial year and the end of this session. And that's what I was saying, Honorable Speaker, by reducing this publication period by only 2 days, from 14 days to 12 days, we will create time after, without anticipating debate, Honorable Speaker, on order number 12 all the way to order number 17, we will be able to progress to public participation and stakeholder engagement. And allow me, Honorable Speaker, to thank the Ministries of Finance, the Ministry of Trade and Industry, and also our Chair Finance and the Chair Trade and Industry, because I have already seen them begin that public and stakeholder engagement. Last week I saw them in what you'd call a town hall debate on Citizen TV, engaging Kenyans and explaining to Kenyans the import of these bills and under what policy each of the bills is anchored on. Honorable Speaker, these are some of the things that even the courts have been speaking to, that we need to sensitize Kenyans on the import of each and every legislative proposal that we bring to this House. And the Ministry of Finance, the Ministry of Trade and Industry, and others like the Ministry of Environment have already begun that stakeholder engagement and sensitization of Kenyans on the import of these bills, on what policies they are anchored on, and what impact they will have on businesses, the positive impact they will have on businesses, Honorable Speaker. And therefore, for us as the National Assembly, we also need to engage in that stakeholder engagement. And for us to have time to have meaningful, qualitative and quantitative public participation, as we have been told by the courts, Honorable Speaker, we thought it was important to reduce the publication period by those 2 days so that they may come for first reading, and we begin the engagement, the relevant committees begin the engagement with the public, Honorable Speaker, sensitizing them, informing them, so that, again, we preempt what we saw happen with the finance bill in June, where people, and many other bills, Honorable Speaker, including the land amendment clause, where people pick up just a small element of a legislative proposal and spin it out of in a narrative that will suit their political narrative, Honorable Speaker, and not necessarily the truth. Therefore, Honorable Speaker, we have learned that part of what we should begin to do early is to inform Kenyans, and that's why we want this opportunity to begin to inform Kenyans. And that's why I said, Honorable Speaker, again, I thank the Ministry of Finance, the Ministry of Trade and Industry, the Ministry of Environment for the sensitization that they have done with these particular legislative proposals, that even before they submitted the legislative proposals to the National Assembly, Honorable Speaker, I know that the ministries did advertise for Kenyans to submit their views on each of the legislative proposals that they wanted to touch on, whether it's from manufacturing, whether it's on the tax procedures, how Kenyans would expect to have a tax management system or a tax system that is more efficient, fair, and justifiable, Honorable Speaker. And from the many proposals that Kenyans gave to the Ministry of Finance and the Ministry of Trade, that is what was then sieved down into the legislative proposals that were brought to the House. As I said, they have further engaged stakeholders, as I said on Citizen TV last week, and now it will be our time as the National Assembly to meaningfully engage Kenyans, and I want to trust that the chair of the Trade and Industry Committee, the Honorable Gakuya, who is here, the Honorable Kimani Kuria, who is also here, that they will embark to, and also the Committee on Trade by the Honorable Gikaria, Environment, they will engage Kenyans on many of these proposals so that Kenyans are well informed and not misinformed and disinformed by those who are intent on disinforming and misinforming Kenyans. Many of these proposals, Honorable Speaker, as I said, are critical, not just for the continuity of business in this country, but also to ensure that businesses are saved from the penalties and interest that are being levied to them by KRA on account of tax arrears. Many, Honorable Speaker, are suffering from cheap imports, that we can protect them, and it is our duty as legislators to protect our local industries so that we may spur growth from the manufacturing sector of our economy. Honorable Speaker, for those members who are in Naivasha, we had an engagement with KEPSA. And when the chairman of KEPSA spoke in that meeting, he indicated how manufacturers today are shifting to other destinations like Uganda, Tanzania, because they have created a more conducive manufacturing environment than ours. It is these incentives, Honorable Speaker, for creating a conducive manufacturing sector in our country that are contained in this Business Laws Amendment Bill. The Public Procurement and Asset Disposal Act Amendment has good proposals, and I want to ask members, please appraise yourselves with the contents of these bills so that even when you are confronted by the media with questions as to what is contained in these bills, we do not go back and say that we do not know, or you do not know, like we had somebody saying she does not know the difference between chief and chifo. Honorable Speaker, I will be very embarrassed to hear the same member now say she doesn't know the difference between the Public Procurement and Asset Disposal Amendment Bill and the Tax Procedures Amendment Bill or the Business Laws Amendment Bill. Let us appraise ourselves with the contents of all these bills. Honorable Speaker, I want to commit that we have agreed with the chairs of these committees that in due course, as soon as the substantive speaker is back, we will organize a kamukunji that will also appraise members on each of the provisions contained in all these bills so that we are all well informed and ready to debate when the debate begins, when the bills come for second reading without anticipating debate. With those many remarks, Honorable Speaker, I beg to move and request the majority whip, the one and only Honorable Silvanus Osoro, to second.
Thank you very much, Honorable Speaker. Honorable Speaker, I may really not have anything useful to add other than what the majority leaders well articulated. But just to remind honorable members that these particular bills are very important and vital to the development of this country, Honorable Speaker. You'll all agree with me that matters tax, matters procurement are no longer preserve of the few well-learned people. It's now a matter that is in public domain, that every person wants to discuss about procurement, every person wants to talk about tax, and nowadays you can't lie to people. You can't tell them that this is what the law says. They already know. And in particular, Honorable Speaker, the public procurement and asset disposal is very vital. This is to seek, the bill is actually seeking to realign, you know, the procurement procedures with Article 227, that you need to have the public procurement policy as equitable as possible, as competitive as possible, as transparent as possible, and as cost-effective as possible. And it is very, very important that we have this bill passed, Honorable Speaker, and also to remind all my members that our calendar is really quite full, you know, even beyond 5th. You know, when we proceed for recess from 5th, we'll proceed for Yala Games in Mombasa. And that leads us to 18th of December. And then after that, it's Christmas. Every one of us, of course, wants to engage and spend some time with the family. And then now January, when most honorable members here who are parents are also running up and down to take their kids to school, the children to school, and also help the constituents, you know, with the bursaries and such kind of things. So the next day that the next session will start thereabout in the month of February. If we don't dispense of these bills within this stipulated time, which is very limited, between now and 5th, Honorable Speaker, we'll really have a challenge, a very huge challenge in terms of, you know, fixing everything that pertains this particular very, very important bills, Honorable Speaker. With those many, many remarks, Honorable Speaker, I beg to second.
Honorable members, I now propose the question that pursuant to the provisions of Standing Order 120, this House resolves to reduce the publication period of the following bills from 14 days to 12 days in order to facilitate public and stakeholder engagement. 1, the Public Finance Management Amendment Bill number 3, National Assembly Bill number 44 of 2024. 2, the Public Finance Management Amendment number 4 Bill, National Assembly Bill number 45 of 2024. 3, the Tax Procedures Amendment number 2 Bill, National Assembly Bill number 46 of 2024. 4, the Tax Laws Amendment Bill, National Assembly Bill number 47 of 2024. 5, the Public Procurement and Asset Disposal Amendment Bill, National Assembly Bill number 48 of 2024. And 6, the Business Laws Amendment Bill, National Assembly Bill number 49 of 2024. Honorable members, let's just allow Honorable Nyikal, just one person, then we can proceed. Honorable Pukase, that's not your prerogative.
Give me the mic. I rise to agree with the leader of majority and support this process. And I want to actually make it very clear that these 4-5 laws we are dealing with is what the economy of this country is going to run on. Madam Speaker, we are talking of public finance. And you know where we have just come from, the public finance laws. It is important, and people take it so seriously that you saw what happened to us when we did listen to the people. And that is what brings the money and how we spend the money. Madam Speaker, the tax procedure laws, it is that tax that will bring the money that we want to spend in the finance laws. And it's therefore extremely important. And the law, the procedures, and the bills, that is how the money comes in. Madam Speaker, when you talk of public procurement, that is the only way government spends money. That's how money moves to get services done. And Madam Speaker, the business laws, that is where all that money comes from. So in a nutshell, Madam Speaker, these are extremely important laws, and I agree with the leader of majority that it is. However, Madam Speaker, what we must not do, I know time is short, and I agree we should hurry and pass them as much as possible. But our emphasis should be on the fact that both this House and the public understand fully what we are talking about, so that when decisions are made by this House and by the public, it is on the basis of information. Sometimes there is a danger, Madam Speaker, that we actually want to pass it quickly and get over with because we understand and we leave people behind. We even leave members of parliament behind when people just turn into voting machines. And that is later on, then they say, well, we didn't know, I didn't read. This time round, Madam Speaker, let us get it right. The emphasis should be on getting it right, not passing it. And Madam Speaker, we should not be afraid of even being called during recess to come and discuss this. This is more important than the recess we are going into. So, Madam Speaker, I support this because I appreciate, and without anticipating debate, this leads directly to order number 9 and the exemptions, even those without anticipating debate, are actually in order with this. But I want to just repeat myself and say, please this time let us look at the interests of the country, not political positions, not business interests. Those are what we should look at in these laws. Because if we don't do that, we can face exactly the same problems we have faced recently with these bills. With that, Madam Speaker, I support.
Honorable members, allow me to put the question. I now put the question that pursuant to the provisions of Standing Order 120, this House resolves to reduce the publication period of the following bills from 14 days to 12 days in order to facilitate public engagement, public and stakeholder engagement. 1, the Public Finance Management Amendment number 3 Bill, National Assembly Bill number 44 of 2024. 2, the Public Finance Management Amendment Bill number 4, National Assembly Bill number 45 of 2024. 3, the Tax Procedures Amendment Bill number 2 Bill, National Assembly Bill number 46 of 2024. 4, the Tax Laws Amendment Bill, National Assembly Bill number 47 of 2024. 5, the Public Procurement and Asset Disposal Bill, Disposal Amendment Bill, National Assembly Bill number 48 of 2024. And 6, the Business Laws Amendment Bill, National Assembly Bill number 49 of 2024. Will as many as of that opinion say aye? Aye. Will as many as of the contrary opinion say nay? The ayes have it. Next order.
Order number 9, procedural motion. Exemption of business from the provision of Standing Order 43.
Majority Leader.
Honorable Speaker, I beg to move that this House resolves to exempt business appearing as orders number 10, 12, 13, 14, 15, 16, and 17 in today's order paper from the provisions of Standing Order 43, being a Wednesday morning, a day allocated for business not sponsored by the majority or minority party or business sponsored by a committee. Honorable Speaker, this is a simple procedural motion to exempt the businesses appearing as on orders number 10, 12, 13, 14, 15, 16, and 17, this being the first reading of the bills whose procedural motion we have just passed on reduction of the publication timeline for the same reasons, and therefore I don't need to belabor it. And I want to request the Honorable Naomi Wako to second as I move. Thank you, Honorable Speaker.
Thank you, Honorable Speaker. I second.
Honorable members, allow me to propose the question. I now propose the question that this House resolves to exempt the business appearing as orders number 10, 12, 13, 14, 15, 16, and 17 in today's order paper from the provisions of Standing Order number 43, being a Wednesday morning, a day allocated for business not sponsored by the majority or minority party or business sponsored by a committee. Honorable members, allow me, Honorable Makalu, make it short.
Yeah, thank you, Honorable Speaker. Honorable Speaker, I do support this motion, but as I support, I want to go on record on about 3 things. The first one, Honorable Speaker, is that the truth of the matter is members of this House have only Wednesday's morning to do their bills and motions. And it's very unfair when the majority leader keeps on taking our time to bring government bills, which we can extend time and it can also create special sittings. So, Honorable Speaker, I would be pleading with the majority leader and the House Business Committee is that to allow us have Wednesday morning for private members' bills. These bills you are reading first reading are very important, I agree. But for the future, majority leader, it's important you allow us our day. The second point, Honorable Speaker, which is important, I also want to plead with the House Business Committee. If you look at the last Wednesday's order paper, a bill which I'm supposed to be sponsoring was the immediate bill after POCOSES. Now my bill has been pushed about 3 levels behind. And if you look at the number of my bill, it's number 5 of 2022, Honorable Speaker. So I want the House Business to be fair to members. It's very unfortunate you see your bill which has been waiting for a long time, and then, Honorable Speaker, all of a sudden, you see a bill being even pushed, which is a number behind your number, very far from where you are. And what we're saying, Honorable Speaker, yeah, exactly, and the thing is, Honorable Speaker, what even worries me most, Honorable members, the bill I'm supposed to be moving is a bill which touches on this, it's a Parliamentary Pensions Amendment Bill, which touches on your issues. And we push our own issues to the back,
and we bring other issues. So, Honorable Speaker, I want to bring the House business that they also be consistent in terms of how they schedule these bills. Otherwise, now I was very prepared last week. Now it has been, today I don't see myself moving it, and it might go to next year, which means I have to do now research next year again. Majority Leader, you must be fair to us. You know, we are also hinging. I don't want to be reading, and then after I do my research, you push me again back to reading. So, Honorable Speaker, I think for today I will understand, but to the future, please, consider also the way the bills have been presented to the House. I think it will help us. But with those better remarks, Honorable Speaker, I know these bills are very important, and we are going to read and prepare ourselves to debate seriously as a House. Thank you.
Thank you, Honorable Makali. I think that the Majority Leader has duly noted your concerns. So now, honorable members, allow me to put the question. I now put the question that the House resolves to exempt the business appearing as orders numbers 10, 12, 13, 14, 15, 16, and 17 in today's order paper from the provisions of Standing Order number 43, being a Wednesday morning, a day allocated for business not sponsored by the majority or minority party or business sponsored by a committee. Will as many as of that opinion say aye? Aye. Will as many as of the contrary opinion say nay? The ayes have it. Next order.
Order number 10, motion. Report of the Committee of the Whole House on the Statute Law Miscellaneous Amendments Bill, National Assembly Bill number 67 of 2023. Question to be put and third reading.
Proceed, Majority Leader.
Thank you, Honorable Speaker. I beg to move that the Statute Law Miscellaneous Amendments Bill, National Assembly Bill number 67.
Hold on, Majority Leader. Hold on, Majority Leader. I'm getting different instructions here. Honorable Majority Leader, you may sit. I've been informed that I should put the question first because it's question to be put, then we move to third reading. Sorry about that. Honorable members, I now put the question that this House do agree with the report of the Committee of the Whole on its consideration of the Statute Law Miscellaneous Amendments Bill, National Assembly Bill number 67 of 2023. Will as many as of that opinion say aye? Aye. Will as many as of the contrary opinion say nay? The ayes have it.
Thank you, Honorable Speaker. I beg to move that the Statute Law Miscellaneous Amendments Bill, National Assembly Bill number 67 of 2023 be now read a third time, and I also request the Honorable Marianne Keitany to second.
Honorable Speaker, I second.
Honorable members, I now propose the question that the Statute Law Miscellaneous Amendments Bill, National Assembly Bill number 67 of 2023 be now read a third time. Thank you, honorable members. I'll now put the question. I now put the question that the Statute Law Miscellaneous Amendments Bill, National Assembly Bill number 67 of 2023 be now read a third time. Will as many as of that opinion say aye? Aye. Will as many as of the contrary opinion say nay? The ayes have it. Next order.
A bill for an act of parliament to make various amendments to statute law. Order number 11, motion. Establishment of a science museum. Question to be put.
Even though the mover of the motion is not here. Honorable members, I now put the question that aware that the Article 11(2)(b) of the Constitution provides that the government shall recognize the role of science and indigenous technologies in the development of the nation, and further aware that Vision 2030 provides for the integration of information, communication, and technology in the country's transformative agenda, concerned that there exists no science museum for consolidating indigenous scientific and technological innovations, training, and research purposes in the East African region. Appreciating that the integration of science and technology would greatly enhance Kenya's economic and societal success. in noting that there is a potential for the growth in the technology sector by establishing a science museum, and further noting that the informal science education plays a key role in the progression of science, technology, engineering, and mathematics, that is STEM, and acknowledging that science museums operate as a nexus between science practitioners, policymakers, and the public, and cognizant of the fact that a science museum in the country would greatly impact on the economy of the country in the quest to become an industrialized nation. And now, therefore, this House resolves that the national government, through the relevant ministries, establishes and operationalizes a science museum in the country. Will as many as of that opinion say aye? Aye. Will as many as of the contrary opinion say nay? The ayes have it. Next order.
Order number 12, the Public Finance Management Amendment number 3 Bill, National Assembly Bill number 44 of 2024, first reading. A bill for an act of parliament to amend the Public Finance Management Act to provide for financial management in the transfer of functions between Article 187 of the Constitution and for connected purposes.
Next order.
Order number 13, the Public Finance Management Amendment number 4 Bill, National Assembly Bill number 45 of 2024, a bill for an act of parliament to amend the Public Finance Management Act and for connected purposes.
Next order.
Order number 14, the Tax Procedures Amendment number 2 Bill, National Assembly Bill number 46 of 2024, a bill for an act of parliament, first reading, a bill for an act of parliament to amend the Tax Procedures Act and for connected purposes. Order number 15, the Tax Laws Amendment Bill, National Assembly Bill number 47 of 2024, first reading, a bill for an act of parliament to make amendments to tax-related laws and for connected purposes. Order number 16, the Public Procurement and Asset Disposal Amendment Bill, National Assembly Bill number 48 of 2024, first reading. A bill for an act of parliament to amend the Public Procurement and Disposal Act and for connected purposes. Order number 17, the Business Laws Amendment Bill, National Assembly Bill number 49 of 2024, first reading. A bill for an act of parliament to amend various laws and to make amendments to laws related to financial institutions and for connected purposes. Order number 18, Committee of the Whole House.
Honorable members, we are in the committee of the whole House to consider the community workers, the Community Health Workers Bill, National Assembly Bill number 53 of 2022 by the Honorable Martin Peter Sowino. I confirm that the Honorable Martin Peter Sowino is in the House.
Clause 3.
I propose the question that Clause 3 be part of the bill. Chairperson, Honorable Dr. Pukose.
Honorable Chair, I propose that Clause 3 be amended as per the order paper. This is for alignment with the Primary Health Care Act number 13 of 2023, which uses the term community health promoter. Thank you, Honorable Chair.
Thank you, Chairman. I propose the question that Clause 3 be amended as proposed by the Chairman. Any interest in this? I put the question. I now put the question that Clause 3 be amended as proposed by the Chair. As many as have that opinion say aye. Aye. As many as have a contrary opinion say nay. The ayes have it. I now put the question that Clause 3 as amended be part of the bill. Will as many as of that opinion say aye? Aye. Will as many as of a contrary opinion say nay? The ayes have it.
Clause 4.
I propose the question that Clause 4 be part of the bill. There be no amendment. I now put the question that Clause 4 be part of the bill. Will as many as have that opinion say aye? Aye. Will as many as have a contrary opinion say nay? The ayes have it.
Clause 5.
I propose the question that Clause 5 be part of the bill. Chair?
Honorable Chair, I propose that Clause 5 be amended as per the order paper. This is for alignment with the Primary Health Care Act number 13 of 2023, which uses the term community health promoter and not workers. Thank you.
Thank you, Chairman. I propose the question that Clause 5 be amended as proposed by the Chairman. I put the question. Thank you. I now put the question that Clause 5 be amended as proposed by the Chair. Will as many as of that opinion say aye? Aye. Will as many as of a contrary opinion say nay? The ayes have it. I now put the question that Clause 5 as amended be part of the bill. Will as many as of that opinion say aye? Aye. Will as many as of a contrary opinion say nay? The ayes have it.
Clause 6.
I propose the question that Clause 6 be part of the bill. Chair?
Honorable Chair, I propose that Clause 6A be amended as per the order paper. This is for the composition of the council should comply with the Mongoso Code of Governance for state corporations in terms of numbers, skill mix, and professional expertise, which should include all relevant players involved in the matters of community health. In Clause B and C, this is just for proper drafting and cross-references in line with the House drafting style. Thank you.
Thank you, Chair. I now put the question that Clause 6 be amended as proposed by the Chair. Will as many as I now put the question that Clause 6 be amended as proposed by the Chair. Will as many as of that opinion say aye? Aye. Will as many as of a contrary opinion say nay? The ayes have it. I now put the question that Clause 6 be amended as amended. I want to take that again. I now put the question that Clause 6 as amended be part of the bill. Will as many as of that opinion say aye? Aye. Will as many as of a contrary opinion say nay? The ayes have it.
Clause 7.
I propose the question that Clause 7 be part of the bill. Chairman?
Honorable Chair, I propose that Clause 7 be amended as per the order paper. This is for proper drafting and cross-referencing in line with the House drafting style. Thank you.
Thank you, Chairman. I now propose the question that Clause 7 be amended as proposed by the Chairman. I now put the question that clause 7 be amended as proposed by the chairman. Will as many as of that opinion say aye? Aye. Will as many as of contrary opinion say nay? The ayes have it. I now put the question that clause 7 as amended be part of the bill. Will as many as of that opinion say aye? Aye. Will as many as of a contrary opinion say nay? The ayes have it.
Clauses 8, 9, 10, 11, 12, 13, 14, 15, 16, and 17.
I propose the question that clauses 8, 9, 10, 11, 12, 13, 14, 15, 16, and 17 be part of the bill. There being no amendments, I now put the question that clauses 8, 9, 10, 11, 12, 13, 14, 15, 16, and 17 be part of the bill. Will as many as of that opinion say aye? Aye. Will as many as of a contrary opinion say nay? The ayes have it.
Clause 18.
I propose the question that clause 18 be part of the bill. Chairman, Dr. Pukose.
Thank you, Chair. I propose that clause 18 be amended as per the order paper. This is for alignment with the Primary Health Care Act number 13 of 2023, which uses the term community health promoter.
Thank you. I now propose the question that clause 18 be amended as proposed by the chair. I put the question that clause 18 be amended as proposed by the chair. Will as many as of that opinion say aye? Aye. Will as many as of a contrary opinion say nay? The ayes have it. I now put the question that clause 18 as amended be part of the bill. Will as many as of that opinion say aye? Aye. Will as many as of a contrary opinion say nay? The ayes have it.
Clause 19.
I propose the question that clause 19 be part of the bill. Chairman.
Honorable Chair, I propose that clause 19 be amended as per the order paper. This is for alignment with the Primary Health Care Act number 13 of 2023, which uses the term community health promoter, to require publication of registered community health promoters on the website of the Community Health Promoters Council instead of the Kenya Gazette, as the latter is very expensive and not economical. Thank you, Chair.
Thank you. I propose the question that clause 19 be amended as proposed by the chairman. Thank you. I now put the question that clause 19 be amended as proposed by the chairman. Will as many as of that opinion say aye?
Aye.
Will as many as of a contrary opinion say nay? The ayes have it. I now put the question that clause 19 as amended be part of the bill. Will as many as of that opinion say aye?
Aye.
Will as many as of a contrary opinion say nay? The ayes have it.
Clause 20.
Thank you. I propose the question that clause 20 be part of the bill. Chairman.
Honorable Chair, I propose that clause 20 be amended as per the order paper. This is for alignment with the Primary Health Care Act number 13 of 2023, which uses the term community health promoter. Thank you.
Thank you, Chairman. I propose the question that clause 20 be amended as proposed by the Honorable Dr. Pukose.
Put the question.
Thank you. I now put the question that clause 20 be amended as proposed by the chairman. Will as many as of that opinion say aye? Aye. Will as many as of a contrary opinion say nay? The ayes have it. I now put the question that clause 20 as amended be part of the bill. Will as many as of that opinion say aye? Aye. Will as many as of a contrary opinion say nay? The ayes have it.
Clause 21.
I propose the question that clause 21 be part of the bill. There be no amendment. I now put the question that clause 21 be part of the bill. Will as many as of that opinion say aye? Aye. Will as many as of a contrary opinion say nay? The ayes have it.
Clause 22.
I put the question that clause 22 be part of the bill. Dr. Pukose. Yes, there seems there is
Honorable Chair, I propose that clause 22 be amended as per the order paper. This is for alignment with Primary Health Care Act number 13 of 2023, which uses the term community health promoter and not worker.
Thank you. I now put the question that clause 22 be amended as proposed by the Honorable Dr. Pukose. I put the question. So I now put the question that clause 20 be amended as proposed by the chairman. Clause 22. I will take that again, honorable members. I now put the question that clause 22 be amended as proposed by the chairman. I now put the question that Clause 22 be amended as proposed by the chair. Will as many as of that opinion say aye? Aye. Will as many as of a contrary opinion say nay? The ayes have it. I now put the question that Clause 22 as amended be part of the bill. Will as many as of that opinion say aye? Aye. Will as many as of a contrary opinion say nay? The ayes have it.
Clause 23.
I propose the question that Clause 23 be part of the bill. Chairman?
Honorable Chair, I propose that Clause 23 be amended as per the order paper. This is for alignment with the Primary Health Care Act number 13 of 2023, which uses the term community health promoter, not worker. Thank you.
Thank you, Chairman. Honorable members, I propose the question that Clause 23 be amended as proposed by the Chairman. I put the question. Thank you. Honorable members, I now put the question that Clause 22 be amended as proposed by the Chair. Will as many as of that opinion say aye? I now put the question that Clause 23 be amended as proposed by the Chair. Will as many as of that opinion say aye? Will as many as of a contrary opinion say nay? The ayes have it.
Clause 24 and 25.
I propose the question that Clause 24 and 25 be part of the bill. There be no amendment. I now put the question that Clause 24 and 25 be part of the bill. Will as many as of that opinion say aye? Will as many as of a contrary opinion say nay? The ayes have it.
Clause 26.
I propose the question that Clause 26 be part of the bill. Chairman?
Honorable Chair, I propose that Clause 26 be amended as per the order paper. 26A is for alignment with the Primary Health Care Act number 13 of 2023, which uses the term community health promoter. In subclause P, this is for accountability purposes. The advocate that sits on the disciplinary committee ought to be appointed by the Attorney General, who by the Constitution is the principal legal advisor of the national government.
Thank you, Chair. I propose the question that Clause 26 be amended as proposed by the Chairman. I now put the question that Clause 26 be amended as proposed by the Chair. Will as many as of that opinion say aye? Aye. Will as many as of a contrary opinion say nay? The ayes have it. I now put the question that Clause 26 as amended be part of the bill. Will as many as of that opinion say aye? Aye. Will as many as of a contrary opinion say nay? The ayes have it.
Clause 27.
I propose the question that Clause 27 be part of the bill. Chairman?
Honorable Chair, I propose that Clause 27 be amended as per the order paper. This is for alignment with the Primary Health Care Act number 13 of 2023, which uses the term community health promoter.
Thank you. Thank you, Chair. I propose the question that Clause 27 be amended as proposed by the Chairman.
Put the question.
I now proceed to put the question. I put the question that Clause 27 be amended as proposed by the Chair. Will as many as of that opinion say aye? Aye. Will as many as of a contrary opinion say nay? The ayes have it. I now put the question that Clause 27 as amended be part of the bill. Will as many as of that opinion say aye? Aye. Will as many as of a contrary opinion say nay? The ayes have it.
Clause 28.
I propose the question that Clause 28 be part of the bill. Chairman?
Honorable Chair, I propose that Clause 28 be amended as per the order paper. This is for alignment with the Primary Health Care Act number 13 of 2023, which uses the term community health promoter.
Thank you, Chair. I propose the question that Clause 28 be amended as proposed by the Chairman. I see no interest. I now put the question that Clause 28 be amended as proposed by the Chair. Will as many as of that opinion say aye? Aye. Will as many as of a contrary opinion say nay? The ayes have it. I now put the question that Clause 28 as amended be part of the bill. Will as many as of that opinion say aye? Aye. Will as many as of a contrary opinion say nay? The ayes have it.
Clause 29, 30, 31, 32, 33, and 34.
I propose the question that Clause 29, 30, 31, 32, 33, and 34 be part of the bill. There be no amendment. I put the question that Clause 29, 30, 31, 32, 33, and 34 be part of the bill. Will as many as of that opinion say aye? Aye. As many as have a contrary opinion say nay. The ayes have it.
Clause 35.
I propose the question that clause 35 be part of the bill. Chairman?
Honorable Chair, I propose that clause 35 be amended as per the order paper. This is for alignment with the Primary Healthcare Act number 13 of 2023, which uses the term community health promoter, and to increase the period from 12 to 24 months for community health promoters to undertake the prescribed courses. Thank you, Chair.
Thank you, Chairman. I propose the question that clause 25 be amended as proposed by the Chair. The Honorable Owino?
Yes, to support my chair on this, many community health workers were worried that the 12 months was too short for transition, and therefore this amendment will make enough time for them to go the courses needed, or one or two courses needed, so that they are fitting in. We have a variety of community health workers. Some are old, might take time, and some are young, which are faster. So the additional time is adequate for transition. Thank you. Thank you, Chair.
The Honorable Anthony. Give me the mic. The Honorable Antonio Luoch.
Thank you, Chair. As I support this amendment, I, however, have a drafting issue which I would like to bring to the attention of the Chair. This 24 months is appropriate, but I'm thinking in terms of the legal drafting, whether the drafting put in negative terms in terms of non-compliance of something, should it be rewarded in such a way as to say that those who will not have complied within a certain number of months will then either be removed from the roll, or alternatively to say that those within 24 months of the enactment of this bill, all eligible community workers will have undertaken the courses under the second schedule. Because the import of the way it's drafted is that you have 24 months after the enactment of this act, and then thereafter you're now saying they are eligible. I don't know, there is something lacking. I think maybe the legal people can weigh in on this so that you advise whether it is neat legally in terms of its drafting, even though I support the amendment itself.
Thank you. The Honorable Vice Chair, let me give a chance to the Vice Chair, then I'll come to you, Chair.
Thank you, Chair. Chair, I start to support this amendment and to say, Chair, the most important thing that you can give people in the community is health education. And if there are people who are available to give health education to our people, are the community health workers. Because we don't have enough doctors, we don't have enough nurses to go around giving people the education. And Chair, most diseases can be prevented, and that's the essence of public health, when people get the right health education. But it becomes very tricky, Chair, when we have people in the community and we give them job as community health workers or promoters, and then these people, we don't give them any skill that they are supposed to transition to the people. At times you attend a function and you listen to a community health worker teaching about a disease, and you go out wondering, are these people not going home more misled than they were? So, Chair, I support this amendment that we need basic training, not very complicated training, but basic training in things like counseling, in things like psychology, because we are living in a country where things like depression are becoming a major health issue as a country. And the best placed people to deal with things like depression in the community are community health workers, because they are free the people, they know the people, and the people trust them and will listen to them. So, Chair, I support that we need these basic trainings, not very complicated, but basic trainings that will make one a good community promoter. I support, Chair.
Thank you very much, Vice Chair, for Health Committee. Chairman?
Chair,
I want to respond on the matter which was raised by the Honorable Member for Mathare.
Chair, I just wanted for the comfort of Honorable Oluoch that the new clause reads that within 24 months upon the commencement of this act, that is within 24 months upon the commencement of this act, the council shall ensure that community health promoters who immediately before the commencement of this act have not undertaken the courses prescribed shall undertake any of the courses prescribed in the second schedule for purposes of registration as a community health promoter under this act. Because we are saying that they must have done any other course so that they can be registered. I don't think there is anything wrong with that drafting issue. So we are giving the council time to be able to, there are courses which can take shorter periods of time. There are courses which will be, all those community health workers who are there, some of them have not undertaken any course, and therefore we want them to, so as to be registered, they must be able to take certain courses within that period, so that community health workers but those who had already qualifications do not need to undertake those courses. But we must be able to limit the time so that they are able to do those courses within that time, and then subsequently, now we can be admitting community health workers with a minimum qualification.
Yes, Honorable Anthony Oluoch, your last comment on this?
Last comment, Chair. For the record, I do support this. I have a lot of community health workers in Mathare, in my constituency. My drafting issue is really a technical legal issue. If you're comfortable with it, it's fine. But what I'm reading from this is that you're saying that there are people who can actually continue undertaking the work of community health promoters for a period of 24 months, without having to be subjected to the courses. So they have a window of 24 months. During that window period. So what I am saying myself is that we don't have to wait for the 24 months, because assuming you wait for 24 months, they will be undertaking this work without the necessary needed training which you are put in Schedule 2. That's my reading. I may be wrong, but if you're comfortable with the drafting, that's okay.
Honorable members, I now propose the question. I allow the chair. Okay. Let me give a few minutes that they consult. 1 minute. Is there any other member who would like to contribute to this as the chair consults? So, Chair, we'll give you 2 minutes to consult. Can we proceed? Chair, you may please give the mic to the chairman.
Chair, having consulted, I think I just want to reassure the member for Mathare that this is a transition period for those who do not have the minimum qualifications. And therefore, we are giving them that within that period of time, they have to meet the qualifications. So it's not after the 24 hours. It is within that period of 24 hours. So that they can be able
24 months.
24 months.
Okay. I propose the question that clause 35 be amended as proposed by the chair. I do not see any further interest in this, honorable members. I now put the question that clause 35 be amended as proposed by the chair. Will as many as of that opinion say aye? Aye. Will as many as of a contrary opinion say nay? The ayes have it. I now put the question that clause 35 as amended be part of the bill. Will as many as of that opinion say aye? Aye. Will as many as of a contrary opinion say nay? The ayes have it.
First schedule.
I propose the question that the first schedule be the first schedule of the bill. There be no amendment. I now put the question that the first schedule be the first schedule of the bill. Will as many as of that opinion say aye? Aye. Will as many as are of the contrary opinion say nay? The ayes have it.
Second schedule.
I propose the question that the second schedule be the second schedule of the bill. There is an amendment on this, so Chair.
Honorable Chair, I propose that the second schedule be amended as per the order paper. This is for alignment with the Primary Healthcare Act number 13 of 23, which uses the term community health promoter. And this is to further allow the Cabinet Secretary for Health to prescribe additional training elements for community health promoters to be registered by the Community Health Promoters Council. Thank you, Honorable Chair.
Honorable members, I now propose the question that the second schedule be amended as proposed by the Honorable Dr. Bukose. I now put the question that the second schedule be amended as proposed by the chair. Will as many as of that opinion say aye? Aye. Will as many as of a contrary opinion say nay? The ayes have it. I now put the question that the second schedule as amended be part of the bill. Will as many as of that opinion say aye? Aye. Will as many as of a contrary opinion say nay? The ayes have it.
Clause 2.
I propose the question that the long title, Clause 2? Clause 2. Honorable members, I take that again. Honorable members, I propose the question that Clause 2 be part of the bill. Chairman?
Honorable Chair, I propose that Clause 2 be amended as per the order paper. In 2A, this is for alignment with the Primary Healthcare Act number 13 of 2023, which uses the term community health promoters. In B, C, and D is for alignment with Primary Healthcare Act number 13 of 23, which uses the term community health promoter. And in E, the registrar means the person appointed by a registrar under Section 17 of this Act, and this is for proper drafting in line with the House drafting style. And in F, Chair, is for alignment with the Primary Healthcare Act number 13 of 23, which uses the term community health promoter.
Thank you, Chair. I propose the question that Clause 2 be amended as proposed by the Chairman. I now put the question that Clause 2 be amended as proposed by the Chair. Will as many as of that opinion say aye? Aye. Will as many as of a contrary opinion say nay? The ayes have it. I now put the question that Clause 2, as amended, be part of the bill. Will as many as of that opinion say aye? Aye. Will as many as of a contrary opinion say nay? The ayes have it.
Long title.
I propose the question that the long title be the long title of the bill. Chairman.
Honorable Chair, I propose that the long title be amended as per the order paper, and this amendment is necessary for purposes of alignment with the amendments proposed within the text of the bill and which have adopted the use of the term community health promoters used in the Primary Health Care number 13 of 23 instead of the term community health workers. Thank you, Chair.
Thank you, Chair. I propose the question that the long title be amended as proposed by the Chair. I now put the question that the long title be amended as proposed by the Chair. Will as many as of that opinion say aye? Aye. Will as many as of contrary opinion say nay? The ayes have it. I now propose the question that the long title as amended be. I now put the question that the long title as amended be part of the bill. Will as many as of that opinion say aye? Aye. Will as many as of a contrary opinion say nay? The ayes have it.
Clause 1.
Honorable members, I now propose the question that Clause 1 be part of the bill. Chairman.
Honorable Chair, I propose that Clause 1 be amended as per the order paper. This is citing this Act as the Community Health Promoters Act 2022. The amendment is necessary for purposes of alignment with the amendments proposed within the text of the bill, which have adopted the use of the term community health promoters used in the Primary Health Care number 13 of 23 instead of the term community health workers. Thank you, Chair.
Thank you, Chair. I now propose the question that Clause 1 be amended as proposed by the Chairman. I now put the question that Clause 1 be amended as proposed by the Chair. Will as many as of that opinion say aye? Aye. Will as many as of a contrary opinion say nay? The ayes have it. I now put the question that Clause 1 as amended be part of the bill. Will as many as of that opinion say aye? Aye. Will as many as our contrary opinion say nay? The ayes have it. Thank you, honorable members. Honorable members, we have concluded consideration of the clauses in the bill. For the information of the committee and the House, the title of the bill has been changed from Community Health Workers to the Community Health Promoters Bill. We will now proceed to report to the House. I now call upon the mover to move reporting.
Thank you, Honorable Chair. I beg to move the that the committee do report to the House its consideration of the Community Health Promoters Bill, National Bill number 53 of 2022, and its approval thereof with amendments.
Thank you very much. Honorable members, I now put the question, which is that the committee do report to the House its consideration of the Community Health Promoters Bill, National Assembly Bill number 53 of 2022, and its approval thereof with amendments. Will as many as of that opinion say aye? Aye. Will as many as of a contrary opinion say nay? The ayes have it.
Honorable members, Madam Speaker.
Okay, Chairperson may report to the House.
Thank you, Honorable Speaker. Honorable Speaker, I beg to report that the Committee of the Whole House has considered the Community Health Promoters Bill, National Assembly Bill number 53 of 2022, and approved the same with amendments. Thank you, Speaker.
Mover.
Thank you, Madam Speaker. I beg to move that the House do agree with the committee in the said report. I also request Honorable Irene Mayaka to second the motion for agreement with the report of the Committee of the Whole House.
Thank you, Honorable Speaker. I second.
You have seconded? Yes. Okay. Honorable members, I propose the question that the House do agree with the committee in the said report. Honorable members, I will put the question at a later time. We may move to the next order.
Order number 19, the Environmental Management and Coordination Amendment Bill, National Assembly Bill number 66 of 2023, second reading.
Honorable Irene Mayaka, you may move your motion.
Thank you, Honorable Speaker. Honorable Speaker, I beg to move that the Environmental Management and Coordination Amendment Bill 2023 be read a second time. Honorable Speaker, this is an act of Parliament to amend the Environment and Management Coordination Act and for connected purposes enacted by the Parliament of Kenya as follows. The purpose being Section 147 of the Environmental Management and Coordination Act of 199 is amended in subsection 2 by inserting the following new paragraph immediately after paragraph B, which reads, make provisions for the prohibition of the introduction, growth, or maintenance of trees of the eucalyptus species in and along any river, lake, sea, or wetland. Honorable Speaker, the statement of objective and reason for this bill is that the principal objective of the bill is to amend Section 147 of the Environmental Management and Coordination Act number 8 of 1999 to permit the Cabinet Secretary to make regulations to prohibit the planting of eucalyptus trees along rivers, lakes, seas, and wetlands. This is meant to remove the water-intensive eucalyptus trees from water catchment areas and thus preserve groundwater and prevent the reduction of water level. Honorable Speaker, the statement on the delegation of legislation power and limitations of fundamental rights and freedoms, the bill delegates legislative power to the Cabinet Secretary, but does not limit fundamental rights and freedoms. Statement that the bill concerns county governments. The bill concerns county governments in terms of Article 110(1)(a) of the Constitution. It affects the functions of county governments under paragraph 10 of Part 2 of the 4th Schedule of the Constitution on implementation of specific national government policies on natural resources and environmental conservation. Statement that the bill is a money bill within the meaning of Article 114 of the Constitution. The enactment of the bill shall not occasion additional expenditure for public funds. Honorable Speaker, I just want to mention to this House that, first of all, the reason why I sought to move this particular bill is because I promised myself when I became a member of parliament that I would leave with a legacy before the end of the term. And my legacy, in essence, was to save the rivers of this country, starting with my own home county of Nyamira County, which, Honorable Speaker, had 11 rivers that had water. But right now, only 2 actually have water. The reason for this is because there has been an intensive growth of eucalyptus trees along the wetland areas of our rivers. Honorable Speaker, just to put this into context, I will mention some of the other counties that have also been affected by the growth of the eucalyptus trees along the wetland areas. These counties are the county of Bomet, Narok, Nyamira, as I have mentioned, Siaya, Kisumu, Homa Bay, Bungoma, Kakamega, Busia, Kiambu, Nairobi, Machakos, Mombasa, Kilifi, Kisii, Vihiga, Nyandarua, Meru, Nyeri, Kericho, Kirinyaga. So, Honorable Speaker, as you can see, this has affected almost more than half of this country. Therefore, Honorable Speaker, the aim of this proposal is to make an amendment of the section that I've mentioned, Section 147 of number 8 of the Environmental Management and Coordination Act 99 by introducing a clause that prohibits planting, growing, or maintaining the eucalyptus tree species in and along any rivers, lakes, and wetlands. And Honorable Speaker, just to also add another element of this, is that from the scientific research that has been done, this particular eucalyptus tree and its species actually consumes an average of up to 90 liters of water during the wet condition and draws up to 40 liters of water during the dry season. So it is very intense in its activities. And also, Honorable Speaker, the leaves of the eucalyptus tree do not degenerate. So in essence, they do not dissolve into being manure production for our soils, but rather they stick there and you actually have to burn them. Honorable Speaker, this in essence means that any life that is found within the rivers can also not be sustained if the rivers do not have water or any other water bodies. Honorable Speaker, the eucalyptus are the most widely cultivated forest trees in the world. The genus Eucalyptus comprises more than 900 species and various hybrids and varieties. Most eucalyptus occur naturally in Australia, and in Kenya, this particular tree was introduced in the year 1902 to provide fuel wood for Kenya-Uganda Railway. Madam Speaker, the total area under eucalyptus in Kenya is about 150,000 hectares, distributed in gazetted forests, land owned by large private companies, small-scale farmers, and local authorities. The area under eucalyptus is increasing at a very high rate because of its high demand for poles to be used for electrification, construction, fuel wood, and to increase the forest cover. Madam Speaker, A perceived ready market for eucalyptus product has motivated farmers to grow the species, yet extensive growing has led to the concern I am raising, especially along our wetland areas. Our country faces an escalating crisis of water security, with major water towers such as the Mau Forest, the Mount Kenya Badeas Ranges, Cherangani Hills, and Mount Elgon that feed into vital catchment areas coming under severe threat. Climate change and human activities, particularly the cultivation of water-intensive eucalyptus trees close to water bodies, contributes to the diminishing river flow and eventual drying of rivers, which in some counties, like as I said, my home county of Nyamira, 80% of the rivers are nearly extinct. Madam Speaker, this comes at a very opportune time for us as a country, because we are currently discussing COP29 in Baku as we speak. And our country is actually leading the African delegation in terms of how do we convert climate change into climate action. So this is really relevant for us because we are not just talking about climate change, but we are talking about an actual action that is being done by members of this House to ensure that there's a prosperity document that you're putting in place, an act that ensures that we do safeguard our rivers in this country. And Madam Speaker, this is not only for us. This is actually for the generations to come as well. Our young people, the young people of this country, have to be made aware that if we do not take action in terms of climate change actions for our country, then we are not helping the problem and we are not also helping the future generations. Madam Speaker, the reality is our growing water demand and water scarcity have become a notable challenge. Climate change, population growth, urbanization, water pollution, and poor management of water resources have aggravated the issue to a water crisis level, affecting economic activities, food security, education, and health. And so, this has been an environmental and community outcry in many countries suffering the negative effects of eucalyptus on water resources, soil health, and the entire biodiversity. Madam Speaker, environmental degradation and especially water scarcity is a global concern, with international organizations like the UNICEF predicting that close to half of the world's population will be living in areas facing water scarcity by as early as next year, 2025. At the center of this rising crisis is invasive trees like the eucalyptus species, of research evidence revealing that devastating impact in several countries. In 2023, for example, a study in Ethiopia alluded to the fact that the rapidly expanding areas of eucalyptus on farmers' fields affected the blue water supply downstream. Madam Speaker, another example is the water wells in India and Zimbabwe that reported between 25 to 37% reduction in the span of 3 to 5 years after planting of eucalyptus trees close to the rivers. Other countries, including Portugal, Spain, and close home in Rwanda, have banned eucalyptus trees completely. Portugal started the shift in 1990. Rwanda took the decision to ban the tree species in the year 2009, while Spain commenced what they called the de-eucalyptalizing in 2018 and actively resorted to replanting other tree species, including native ones, helping to boost the chances for nature to recover some of its resistances. All these countries, Madam Speaker, have embraced other equally economically useful trees, species that are also friendly to the environment and protect the health and the earth and its inhabitants. And Madam Speaker, during my research and working with the experts in the environmental space, one of the trees that has really been recommended as a replacement for eucalyptus is the bamboo tree. And the reason for this is because the bamboo tree has equal economic benefits as the eucalyptus tree, but is more friendly towards the environment and especially the wetland areas. In our moment to follow suit in Kenya, the future management options of eucalyptus species call for interventions that must be regulated and coordinated at national level, then cascaded to the counties and landscape skills. Madam Speaker, this particular legislation is long overdue. In 2009, the late Honorable John Mishuki, the then CS for Forestry and Environment, ordered eucalyptus to be uprooted in water riparian areas. Despite the ban on planting eucalyptus, this directive was not successfully implemented because there was no backed up law. It was not backed up by the law, and therefore the regulations could not be implemented by the CS. Madam Speaker, when passed by this Honorable House, the proposed amendment will allow the Cabinet Secretary to make specific prohibitions to prohibit introduction, growth, maintenance of the eucalyptus species in Kenya. This will align and cement the existing climate change and sustainable environmental conservation regulation framework to achieve more resilient ecosystem. In terms of public participation, Madam Speaker, I did engage in a community-focused engagement in my home county, which I used as a pilot, using the Super MP football tournament. And this particular tournament had a running theme of reviving our rivers. And what we did is that we ensured that the young people who actually participated in that tournament did plant alternative trees whenever they began a game of football. And for a period of 4 weeks, there was intense discussion about this particular aim of reviving our rivers within the county of Nyamira. 3 weeks ago, there was another public participation exercise that was conducted in the county of Kilifi, in which the stakeholders also agreed that following the passing of the amendments, the government, private sector, and civil society will collaborate to achieve the goals outlined in the bill to promote sustainable development. I had an opportunity to also present this particular bill before the Committee of Environment, and the committee did have an opportunity to have widespread public participation, including engaging the experts in the environment space, and they did approve this particular bill to proceed. The Environment Management and Coordination Act Amendment Bill of 2023, Madam Speaker, is essential to protect our water resources. I recommend that national institutions mandate to manage forest and water catchment areas like the Kenya Forest Service, the Kenya Research Institute, and Water Resource Authority should provide site-specific alternative trees, such as the bamboo tree and other native species, to replace the eucalyptus entirely. Madam Speaker, as I conclude, let me say that this bill concerns county government in terms of Article 110(1)(a) of the Constitution, and I will be making further communication through the Speaker on who will be the co-sponsor of the bill in Senate. And as I conclude, I just want to reach out and express to the members that we as a country need to take action so that we can protect our fields, we can protect our rivers. And Honorable Speaker, the only way we can ensure that is done is by ensuring that we do put laws in place that actually ensure that we protect this, not just for the purposes of this particular parliament that we serve in, but also for the prosperity. And Honorable Speaker, I will finish with a quote from a French proverb. We never know the worth of water till the well is dry. I submit, and I call upon the Honorable Jane Kagiri to second. I thank you.
Honorable Jane Kagiri, please proceed to second the motion.
Thank you, Honorable Speaker. I stand to second this amendment. And first, I'll take this opportunity to congratulate Honorable Irene Mayaka for a very well thought out amendment. Honorable Speaker, as I start to second, I would want to first take us through some statistics. It is medically recommended that each person takes 2 liters of water per day. Honorable Speaker, that would mean for a family of 5, they would require 10 liters of water per day. Honorable Speaker, for the eucalyptus tree, it requires 90 liters of water per day. So a eucalyptus tree is taking the water intake of 45 Kenyans. Honorable Speaker, I would want to say that majority of Kenyans don't even meet the 2 liters requirement, not because they don't want, but because they cannot get the access to that water. So Honorable Speaker, I would be seconding to state that it would be very unfortunate for us as a country to continue allowing this tree to be planted next to our riverbed and our water sources, knowing that it is taking up water, which would be of great assistance to our people and of great use to them. Secondly, Honorable Speaker, this is a tree that causes a lot of soil degradation, because if we look at a situation of an acre in Kenya, it would fit around 3,000 trees. A quick math of what I spoke before, that would mean 270,000 liters of water being taken up per day on that particular area of soil. Honorable Speaker, that will cause a lot of soil degradation even to the neighboring piece of land, because knowing how the roots of the eucalyptus tree operate, they actually stretch onto other pieces of land. So, Honorable Speaker, that would be the second point, that our eucalyptus trees are causing a lot of soil degradation in our country. And the third one, I would want to speak of the biodiversity loss. And biodiversity loss, actually, Honorable Speaker, is in regard to the tough decomposition of eucalyptus leaves. Unlike many other trees where their leaves decompose and in fact become manure for the soil, on this one, the eucalyptus leaves normally do not decompose. So actually, they are not of any benefit to the soil in that area, and they actually affect the flora and fauna of the particular area. So, Honorable Speaker, the third thing I would want to speak about is its effect on the water quality. As we've spoken, Honorable Speaker, the eucalyptus tree sucks in a lot of water. So, of course, it affects the surface water. It takes up all the surface water. The surface water normally has a lot of nitrogen and phosphorus, which is important for soil nutrients. Again, we lose it because of this particular tree. Honorable Speaker, even in regards to the local climate, the eucalyptus tree is not beneficial to us. In fact, it causes desertification, Honorable Speaker. Honorable Speaker, with those many remarks, I hope we have convinced this House that we need to put an amendment to this bill to ensure that never again should our water sources be dried because of the eucalyptus tree. Thank you, Honorable Speaker. I submit and I second.
Thank you. Thank you very much, Honorable Mayaka and Honorable Jane Kagiri. Honorable members, I now propose the question that the Environmental Management and Coordination Amendment Bill, National Assembly Bill number 66 of 2023 be read a second time. Honorable members, I see a few interests in this. I guess that this is the motion that you want to speak to. So we start with the Honorable Geshimo Gedeji, member for Geshugu.
Thank you, Honorable Speaker. I rise to support this bill by Honorable Irene Mayaka, which I would say is also a bill of life, because it is seeking to protect the wetlands where we derive, where we normally get our waters from. And Honorable Speaker, though eucalyptus trees have also some benefits, I think the disadvantages outweigh the advantages of these trees to the Kenyan populace. And Honorable Speaker, I'm happy that Honorable Mayaka was also able to do a lot of research across the world, and also came up with the areas that where even eucalyptus tree has been banned. And one of the interesting areas, Honorable Speaker, out of my research on this eucalyptus tree is Portugal, whereby in 1989, there was a war in the valley of Lila, a place called Viecadolila in Portugal, where hundreds of people gathered to destroy 200 hectares of eucalyptus trees, fearing that the trees would rob them of their water and bring fire. And I believe this is one of the revolutions that led to Portugal banning the growth of eucalyptus trees in wetlands, in riparian areas, along the rivers, and so forth. And Honorable Speaker, these eucalyptus trees have also been referred as that species because research has shown, and one such research is also from India, whereby it has been shown that eucalyptus trees take more water than what is replaced by rainfall. And therefore, that means that even the human life any kind of life is written by these eucalyptus trees. And without belaboring the point, Honorable Speaker, it is also worth noting that this law now gives the minister or the CS an avenue to make regulations that would firmly make it possible for enforcement or the management of the wet areas, the catchment areas, for the purposes of issues in respect of the eucalyptus tree. And that is in line with Article 95 sub-Article 6, which provides that Parliament has the powers to make law, but also has power to delegate that law. And this provision now gives that avenue to the Parliament to delegate that power to the Cabinet Secretary to come up with the regulations towards the management of the growth of eucalyptus trees in this country, and especially in the wet areas and where we normally get our water from. And back home, and especially in my county, Kirinyaga, these eucalyptus trees are usually a very big threat to the rivers. Actually, most of the rivers, some of the rivers have dried up because of these eucalyptus trees. And that is why I stand here to support this bill, which also looks at the issues of the climate change. Climate change is not only about the air, and planting trees. It's also about climate change action on areas that also threaten lives, both human and plants, other plants, and also other species, because when the rivers dry up, we also lose lives which are usually found in that river, including fish, and also it's also a threat to the food security in this country. So, Madam Speaker, my research also shows that in February 2020, the then Minister for Environment, Honorable Keriako Tobiko, called for eucalyptus trees to be uprooted in all wetlands and all catchment areas. But you see, that was just a directive which had no legal backing. And that is why this now legislation comes in handy to make sure that there is a law, there is a legal framework that a minister or a CS can use in order to enforce to enforce such kind of directives. But if someone never followed that directive and obeyed it, there was nothing that would have happened. So regulations coming through the CS would help in this space a lot. And that is why I support and thank you for that opportunity, Honorable Speaker. And I also thank Honorable Irene Mayaka for bringing this, I would call, a bill of life. Thank you, Honorable Speaker.
Thank you, Member for Gishugu. The Honorable Martin Owino, Member for Ndhiwa.
Thank you, Madam Speaker. I rise to support this amendment bill. And I want to congratulate Honorable Irene Mayaka, making the first shot at the bill. It's very tiring and very needy. There are a lot of research which has been thrown into it. It is true global issues when it comes to environment is progressive. And therefore, a bill giving the CS mandate to make policies, I think it is in order, because we will need those policies from. Madam Speaker, I grew up in rural setting, and really there were some rivers which were never drying. And you had Mutembei being mentioned as one of the areas affected. If not abated, we'll end up in a crisis. The human body needs between 45 to 75% 50% of water, depending on gender and all that, but that range, meaning if the rivers dry up, the common wananchi has no access to water. That reduction of water in the body may cause a lot of ill health, and this is for sure. So if we find an item or this eucalyptus as one of the factors that are doing that, and we know global issues are progressive, then we have to have that as a strategy, which I really recommend what this bill is going to do. So we have that as a strategy. Eucalyptus dehydrate the soil. This is the most important part of it. The soil dehydration around it then causes other species, the shrubs, to die off. And that really interferes with the ecosystem of our environment. Our environment constitutes a lot of stakeholders, including rickets, insects, and every shrubs around it. So when the water is depleted, really you interfere with the ecosystem. As one of us have said, this is some good, but the bad really outweighs what eucalyptus does to our environment. So to Honorable Mayaka, I think this is in order. We are talking here about the soil health. When we come to cultivation of our crops and all that, and that home river, I'm trying to say, dried up and left the community in disarray, really used to service well when it comes to water and water products. And when we were growing young, it was abundant. Even people used to fish and do other things, draw water to irrigate and plant other things. But right now, it's a wash bay. The rain comes as it goes, and that is the end of it because of this eucalyptus which was planted around it. It outcompetes other species. This is another issue. It just not just take what is, it outcompetes completely. That where you find these trees grown, there will be no other things growing because of that outcompetition. So uprooting them, I think, a way to go, but also avoiding it at all, that we don't add more insult to injury, I think is very important. So as I conclude, I want to congratulate Honorable Irene and Honorable Kagiri, who seconded this with a lot of facts. And I urge other members, let us support this and vote it in so that we can start implementing it. Thank you, Madam Speaker.
Thank you, Member from Viwa. The Honorable Naomi Wako, Member from Marsabit County.
Thank you, Honorable Speaker, for giving me this opportunity to support this bill, number 66 of 2023, the Environmental Management and Coordination Amendment Bill by Honorable Irene. And I also want to congratulate Honorable Irene Manyaka for coming up with this, which is very relevant and to every part of this country, very important, especially now when we are talking of climate change and Kenyans and the entire world is struggling on how we can cope with this situation. So I support this amendment because of course, the facts that she has already given and other facts that all the other members have given. And I also add my own addition to that so that these amendments can be put in place and we save the situation in our counties and different parts of this country. Honorable Speaker, as you may know, some time back, it was like a tradition for all of us to plant the eucalyptus trees all over. And little did we know that the disadvantages were so much, such that we didn't even imagine that in some few years, we'll be talking of the negative impact it has had, especially for those of us who come from ASAL areas, whereby we have planted and our parents have planted in our farms, in our small shambas, in our plots and even around the wet areas. And at the end of the day, what people have seen is it has done a lot of damage, the earlier we get rid of these trees, the better for us. Although I know many people have been talking about the advantages, the medicinal side of it, and all these other things, but when you look at the negative impact, it is so high such that we need to get rid of it. Honorable Speaker, after looking and doing a bit of research on this, I have seen that the eucalyptus trees root spread up to 100 feet, which also means that if you plant it close to your house, the damage it causes is so huge such that your house can be brought down by this. And you know very well that in the villages, people don't have a lot of resources and even cannot afford to come up with that very strong foundation. So when you do this, and then it destroys all the area around that, and at the end of the day, your house is also damaged. You know very well, many people cannot also insure their houses, and at the end of the day, the loss is so huge on them, and repairing again is a big problem. In fact, I have heard of so many people from my own village complaining about that and trying to move even relocate their houses to a different place. And of course, that is also not easy because of the cost that they can easily incur. Again, the other thing that I have seen from experience is that during the wind time, you know, when it is raining, the winds come, and sometimes this eucalyptus tree can easily fall. When they fall again, the damages are so huge. They fall on houses, they fall on classes, they fall on even human beings, and destroy people's property. So, Honorable Speaker, there is no need for us to keep those things that disadvantage us and our community, and that is why today I stand and say that I support this bill so that we get rid of it and we replace the trees with other trees that have relevance and can have some benefit to our communities. And with those few remarks, I support. Thank you.
Thank you very much, Honorable Wako. The Honorable Christine Ombaka, member for Siaya County.
Thank you, Madam Speaker, for giving me this opportunity. I rise to support this bill, or this amendment bill, because it is good for the country. When we talk about the effect of water, and eucalyptus tree is one of them, then it is better to sacrifice and burn it, especially along the rivers and springs. Anything that affects humankind in terms of water resources is a dangerous thing. We know very well that people who suffer in terms of looking for water are women. Women never have water. They spend a whole day looking for water in the rivers and in the springs, and young girls and old women look for water all over. Even little boys, I see them looking for water, even without eucalyptus. But with eucalyptus trees around, the situation gets worse. So anything that will affect lack of water, that will affect us, that there is no water, that sucks water from the springs and from the rivers, that's a dangerous thing. So that's why I support this, because the sufferers are human beings. Water is life. When there is no water, nobody will have that life. So this is a dangerous thing. This is a dangerous tree that we need to control and ensure that it is not grown along the rivers. My next point is that people plant these trees, eucalyptus, because they believe it is medicinal. It is. It has been confirmed. It is medicinal. It is used for various diseases like coughs and colds. It is also used for insecticides. And so people see the benefit of it. But people need to be educated to know the bad side of it as well, so that they take care and become more cautious. During tree planting times, we normally have tree planting seasons, and people plant anything, any tree that they see. It is important also to use that opportunity, that time, or tree planting, to educate the people what type of trees to plant, what type of trees to avoid. That way, we will be able to avoid planting trees that are harmful, or that will affect our daily lives. So I think that is my contribution to this. I support it because it is touching on the very core of human life, water. Water is life, and water, without water, women bear the biggest burden. Therefore, we need to ban it along the rivers, along the springs, or any water sources that we have around. I support the bill, and we will continue to debate on it. Thank you.
Thank you. Thank you very much, Member for Siaya. The Honorable Patrick Ndwiga Twiga, Member for Chuka Igamba Ng'ombe.
Thank you, Chair. Chair, I stand to support this important bill by Honorable Irene Mayaka. I come from the Rakanidi County, Chuka Igamba Ng'ombe constituency, Chair. And in my constituency, this eucalyptus tree is a main problem to us, Chair. And I even want to look at the problem it has caused us in a different angle, Chair, because even the investment we are doing in Speaker in terms of water catchment, in terms of water for irrigation, all the intakes we have done, like in my constituency, the government has invested so much money to do these water intakes. People have started doing irrigation using these water projects, but these rivers are drying. So all the investment we have done in the intakes, it's going to waste because the rivers are drying. So, Chair, Madam Speaker, it's very important that we avoid these eucalyptus in our trees, because what we are doing is just reverse investment. Like in my constituency, we have an investment of almost 1 billion by European Union for our water intake that is supposed to serve the whole of Chuka town and its environment. But because of these eucalyptus trees that have been planted along that river, we are losing almost 5 intakes now. That during these intakes have water almost 2-3 months per year. The rest of the season, they don't have water, Chair. So you wonder, is it worth to do all this investment in this intake and these important irrigation and drinking water projects to have water 3 months per year? Something that we can avoid by avoiding these trees. So, Madam Speaker, I think this is a very important bill, and I'm happy that it has come at this particular time, that even in this parliament, for members of parliament, we have even enhanced our environment kitty, that when we go home now, we need now to start telling our people, because people are being given alternatives, that you don't plant eucalyptus, what do you plant? So it's the high time, Madam Speaker, we engage our people constructively. And I love the research that the Honorable Member Eileen has done, and I would really wish that it is shared widely. Even the examples she has given of countries that have dealt with this matter of eucalyptus trees, so that as we engage members, we engage from a factual point, we engage from a point of knowledge, and we engage from a point where we can show them that it has been done elsewhere, and so it can be done in Kenya too. Thank you, Speaker. I support.
Thank you very much. The Honorable Richard Yegon, Member for Bomet East.
Thank you very much, Madam Speaker, for giving me this opportunity also to contribute on this issue of eucalyptus trees. I want also to congratulate Honorable Irene Mayaka for bringing in this issue, because there was some time where we talked about these eucalyptus trees, and I think it died off again like that. But I believe this time around we are going to take action, because eucalyptus trees, when they are planted along the rivers, they tend to drain a lot of water. They take a lot of water, thus making the rivers go dry. Madam Speaker, it is high time that we need to enact serious laws to make sure that the areas where eucalyptus trees are planted are categorized. They need to be put up the hills, whereby it doesn't drain a lot of water from like when they are planted in the rivers. I've heard in my area whereby if you see a tree or a eucalyptus tree, which is when somebody fell a tree, and maybe you can put something to collect the water out of that tree, you will find there's a lot of water coming out of a tree which has been fell along the river. And therefore, we need serious laws to be put to curtail these issues of planting trees along the rivers. It is finishing water. Within some few months after the rains, the riverbed just got dry, and we want to enact serious laws to make sure that this rule is followed. And for those people who have planted trees along the rivers, I want to say that there should be a mechanism when this law has been enacted. There should be a mechanism where we must penalize the people who are planting trees along the rivers. And equally, even those who are planting the trees along the borders of some people, we need to put some stringent measures whereby you say maybe around 6 meters off the boundary of somebody, you plant those trees along there because they tend to finish, make the farm of the neighbor look very bad or become dry. And even the crops which are planted in their farms, they are not going to come out very well. Madam Speaker, I support this. We need to make serious laws to curtail these issues of the eucalyptus trees being planted in the wrong place. Thank you very much, Madam Speaker.
Thank you. The Honorable Ruth Odinga, member for Kisumu County. Please give the mic to the Honorable Ruth Odinga.
Thank you. Thank you, Madam Speaker, for giving me this opportunity. I'd like to support this bill by Irene Mayaka. First of all, the eucalyptus tree is one of the most has a high transpiration. And that means the tap root of this tree really goes far deep down. So even when you put it along the river, it doesn't just mean where you have planted it. Its roots go very, very deep into the river itself, and it uses high absorption of the water from the river. So it's not even depleting the water within the soil around the river, but even the one within the river as it's flowing. That is actually the fact about this plant. It's very dangerous to have it along any waterways. And secondly, Madam Speaker, it is so sad that we are doing a lot of tree planting. And right now, the government has come out for us to do tree planting everywhere. But it is done indiscriminately. We just plant any plant that you find. We are never given much choice on which one are the best ones and where should they be planted and areas. I will not say that I'd be against the eucalyptus plant being planted, but it should be done in a designated area. For example, if it's in a forest area, we know that we have a particular area, and I know that is done in West African countries which still have areas for planting such medicinal plants like the eucalyptus. It should be given its status as a medicinal plant and be planted in a designated area where those who want to use it as a herb or for for medicinal purposes can be able to cultivate it and use it, but not to have it be put in an area where it's going to actually affect the humans around that area. Now, for example, apart from saying along the rivers and the lakes, also in the farming areas, once you plant the eucalyptus tree in the farming areas, do you know it will be competing with all the plants and all the farm produce for that water that they also highly need for the plants to grow. So even in farming areas, even in actually habitable areas, the eucalyptus tree should not be planted. It should only be planted in a designated area in a forest. And one of the other reasons is because even the leaves of this eucalyptus plant, it never rots. It just acclimates itself, but it never even rots and decomposes to become a manure that can be used like the other trees. So for me, I believe
that and support this bill that especially along the waterways and anywhere that is humanly habitable, the eucalyptus tree should not be planted. But we should have it for the medicinal purposes, but in designated areas, in forests where they can be cultivated and it can be used. So with that few remarks, I thank Honorable Kagiri and Honorable Mayaka and say that I really support this bill. Thank you.
The Honorable Member for Baringo, Honorable Jematia Sirgon.
Thank you so much, Madam Speaker. And I want to also take this opportunity to congratulate and thank my friend, Honorable Rene, for coming up with such a very important bill and proposal amendment into enabling the Cabinet Secretary to put regulation in place to curb this very dangerous and very inefficient plant called eucalyptus. I come from a very dry area, naturally, Madam Speaker, but I have also interacted in areas, specifically in my county, where eucalyptus has been planted. And you can see the effects, specifically on dry rivers, the overflowing rivers that you used to see when we used to be young children, the way we used to swim on the rivers, and the way you used to, graze our fathers' cows along the rivers. Nowadays, it is a really dry site, which is giving us a very bad soil. I mean, the environment is just degrading and it is becoming worse by the day. If you read about this bill, Madam Speaker, you realize Honorable Irene Mayaka took time to educate us and show us the importance of making sure that we have eradicated eucalyptus species, specifically by even defining and giving us the types that are more severe than the other. If you look at the eucalyptus globulus, the blue gum, that is known for its water-hungry nature, it can potentially deplete water sources, affecting rivers specifically, or especially in areas with limited water availability. We naturally depend on rainwater fed in terms of agriculture, survival, and always, in many ways. Now, if we are introducing, or when we plant eucalyptus species like this blue gum, which we always use it for construction, and we like, for commercial purposes, as much as it is good, we can see the dangers that actually are so far and more likely going to affect the environment is so dire and so negative. And this one I want to support and say it is going to be a very resourceful bill, and we really want the Cabinet Secretary to take up this challenge and do the proper amendments and regulate this, specifically people who are having the penchant of looking for money in many ways that affect the environment, specifically through this eucalyptus planting. We also want to urge the ministry through the cabinet that as they do these amendments and regulations, there are many alternative trees that we can plant and replace it with eucalyptus, which also still have the same beneficials with eucalyptus in a way, specifically on matters constructions. And bamboo, as Honorable Mayaka has given us very, very nice examples, is one of them. Bamboo is a water reservoir, for instance, collecting storage water an amount during rainy seasons. It also helps in extensive fibrous roots. It is also good for furniture, carpentry, and building, which it's going to be the best replica, which we can also use it in every, specifically on waterways and rivers, so that we can bring back the sanity and bring back life, because without water, there's nothing we can do so much. Water is life. Water is day to day. It is like a breath for all of us, and we need it. And specifically also, when we, as a government of the day, when our president always urges us to plant trees and give target of up to 10 billion trees in the next 5 years, we cannot be planting trees and we have eucalyptus at the same time. Because the more you plant trees, we are encouraging more rainfall, but as long as eucalyptus is within us, the same water that we are trying so much to attract through rain is going to be disadvantaged by the presence of these eucalyptus trees. So, Madam Speaker, I think this is one of the best bills, and it is a progressive bill, and it's going to help us in many ways. And lastly, Madam Speaker, in terms of, I was very keen in one of the sentences that the member alluded and give us an example is that a eucalyptus can take up to 90 liters per day in wet conditions and draws 40 liters daily in dry conditions. This is a very severe tree. And the faster we eliminate this tree, just like the way it was done in Portugal, the way they decided in one day that they are going to the forest and just fell down all these trees, at that time, it is also good for this country to adopt a very radical and purposeful and very intended resolution to make sure eucalyptus trees is not planted anymore, is regulated properly, and is specifically in areas, specifically island areas. If you go to Kericho or Bomet, where they plant a lot of tea, you easily see that eucalyptus is along the rivers. And this is something that has, every time you go to those areas that you think it rains every day, people tell you they don't have water. And if you do or sink a borehole in those areas, Nandi, for example, also, you can't get water because the water tables is so down, and it is highly contributed to such plants like eucalyptus. And that one is something that it is good we have identified the problem, and I urge through the ministry that this is a problem that we can be solved, and we can help this country in making sure that we are preserving our water towers and our water preserves. In Nyandarua, when Honorable Soipan was a Minister for Environment, I remember we went to plant trees in one of the lakes that had dried up because of eucalyptus that was planted around the lake. So this is a tree that has been tested, and it has been known it is a very severe and gives a lot of negative response in the environment. For all that, Madam Speaker, I want to say I support, and thank you so much. Thank you.
The Honourable Member for Luanda, Honourable Dick Maungu.
Thank you very much, Madam Speaker, for the opportunity given so that I may also add my voice to this very important bill. I'll start with, allow me to appreciate the Honourable Mayaka for a bill that is well-timed, a bill that goes a long way in addressing some of the challenges we have as a country with regard to climate change, with regard to wetlands and conservation and environment. Madam Speaker, growing up as a young boy, we grew in an environment where we had a lot of wetlands around. And that made it happen that the climate within which, or the weather within which we were brought up was very conducive. Our springs were intact, our waterland, our water points were intact, and both our animals as well as we as human beings had enough water for our consumption. The time came that there was clamor to plant trees, and it happened that the trees that were supposed to be planted were the eucalyptus trees, Madam Speaker. Little did we know the impacts of this species and what it was to do to us as a country. Many years down the line, what we see are the repercussions. What we see are the results of having planted eucalyptus trees around rivers, around wetlands, and areas that hitherto that, Madam Speaker, were a source of water. I appreciate the honorable member who has done a very good document trying to show us the cost benefit or the pros and the cons of eucalyptus in our society. When eucalyptus was introduced, Madam Speaker, many people, especially small farmers who had some extra land somewhere, thought it wise to plant eucalyptus so that they could get source of firewood, they would supply electric poles as well as power poles. And it appeared to be a short-term measure of making money. But by and large, this tree has continued to be dangerous. And what is coming out, it is a very vicious tree. Vicious in the sense that it suffocates and ensures that other crops around do not have enough water. This tree is vicious in the sense that it shrinks or absorbs all the water around our waterlands. To an extent that, Madam Speaker, our waterlands, our rivers are shrinking, our wetlands are shrinking and even drying off, and some of them are actually extinct. And therefore, having an amendment that will ensure that we safeguard our wetlands, having an amendment that will ensure that we safeguard our rivers, Madam Speaker, will go a long way in giving dignity to mankind. Because as we see, Madam Speaker, a statement here says that this tree can draw as much as 90 liters of water per day. I've just been trying to imagine what kind of an animal can consume that amount of water in a day. And Madam Speaker, I couldn't really tell. And therefore, if a tree can absorb as much as that amount of water in wet days or in dry days, Madam Speaker, that means that by the end of it all, we shall have very, very dry land. We shall have very, very dry rivers. We shall have very, very dry wetlands, and there shall not be life. We all know the importance of water in our living. Madam Speaker, Kenya is largely an agricultural land where we depend on agriculture to feed our nation. We depend on agriculture to feed our people. We depend on agriculture to defend our communities. But by having eucalyptus within, Madam Speaker, what this plant is doing, it is suffocating and ensuring that our lands are dry and therefore not good for production. And therefore, I support the amendment as captured by my good friend Irene, so that we can be able to redeem our land. We can be able to redeem our wetlands. We can be able to redeem our rivers and ensure that we go back to the life that we had in the early years, Madam Speaker. Madam Speaker, I come from Vihiga County, and we have a lot of, I've seen a species known as blue gum. We have a lot of blue gum planted within our area. And it may look attractive, it may look beautiful, and to some extent it has got some medicinal benefits, the eucalyptus, Madam Speaker. But the benefits that come from eucalyptus are much less than the cost we incur, the cost we experience. Right now, we have the COP29 taking place. Madam Speaker, it's all about global warming. It's all about, the kind of dent that we as a people have done to the environment. And therefore, by eliminating eucalyptus and planting trees or plants like bamboo that can be able to maintain our wetlands, that can be able to ensure that our wetlands are wet, Madam Speaker, will go a long way. I therefore support and do congratulate the member who has brought this amendment at a good point in time. I support.
The Honourable Member for Nyeri Town, Honourable Maina Bakenge.
Thank you, Madam Speaker. I rise to support the motion, the amendment bill by Honourable Irene. Honourable Speaker, it is true that the eucalyptus tree has been studied, including by the Kenya Forestry Service in this country. And the issues surrounding its effects on water sources is not in dispute. And it is imperative that as a country, we plan better, and also what we plan, we implement it meticulously. Honorable Speaker, there is no doubt in our mind that the electrification in this country largely has been supported by the poles from the eucalyptus trees. Affordable housing, affordable fencing in our rural smallholder farms, the poles are provided by the eucalyptus trees. because of its fast growth rate and maturity, and the ban on logging, our timber industry locally is largely also supported by the eucalyptus trees. We can also not wish away the benefits of this tree on our economy and in rural livelihoods. Households that depend on firewood in rural Nyeri largely access firewood from this tree. But it is paramount that the plan, in terms of the species that are suitable for certain areas and regions, and also a comprehensive land use plan so that it is only planted in areas designated specifically for eucalyptus growing. It is easy to look on the negative effects, but it is imperative that we also strike the necessary balance so that we do not upset the livelihoods, especially of the vulnerable members of our society. And therefore, while I encourage Honorable Mayaka to pursue this and consult more experts, and especially involve not only the national government, but also the county governments in terms of setting aside zones. In my area, in Nyeri and in Mount Kenya region, Honorable Speaker, our tea factories largely rely on wood to process tea. And quite a number of these tea factories have leased lands, some in very unsuitable areas like Kieni, where it is actually eucalyptus should be banned in what we call Kieni, which is 52% of Nyeri County, because it is semi-arid. But on the other side, we have the areas of Tetu, Odaya, and Madera, whose economies are also dependent on tea growing and tea processing. And therefore, a delicate balance on both the environmental effects and the economic use that the eucalyptus trees contributes in our country needs to be properly established. The environmental impact assessment reports on areas where eucalyptus is grown large scale ought to inform the direction that we eventually take in amending the Environmental Act. It is critical that we do not upset the apple cart on areas that are largely dependent on this tree without providing a viable alternative to the contributions and the economic use. Honorable Speaker, I support.
Okay, the Honorable Member for Funyula, Honorable Wilberforce Oundo.
Thank you, Honorable Speaker, for the opportunity. And let me thank the young lady Irene Mayaka for bringing this amendment to the Environmental Management and Coordination Act for the purpose is an act of Parliament to amend the Environmental and Management Coordination Act and for connected purposes. And principally, the gist of the matter is to provide for the banning or to prohibit the planting of eucalyptus species in and along any river, lake, sea, or wetland. Honorable Speaker, all of us know that Kenya is a tree-scarce country. We have not yet gotten the 10% forest cover that we desire. And we always hope and pray the initiative that are being rolled by the current regime will result in adequate forest cover so that we can solve climatic change and be in a position to deal with the adverse effects of climatic change. Honorable Speaker, there are very many tree species in this country, both exotic, indigenous, and some hybrid. They have different implications, or they have got different effects on the environment and the general well-being of the people of Kenya. There has been numerous researches, numerous reports that have indicated eucalyptus species are heavy consumers of water, and therefore whenever they're planted near water sources, whenever they're planted along riverbeds or any other water masses, they have some negative effect on the water availability in that particular area. I do not want to dispute the researchers because that's not my area of specialization, and being somebody who has consumed research reports, I want to take it as it is that that's the correct position. So if there's adequate research, and I do believe the scientists both in this house, scientists at KEFRI, scientists all over, will be able to inform this debate before we conclude. But Honorable Speaker, let me also echo the sentiment raised by the MP from Nyeri, who has clearly indicated eucalyptus, because of their early maturing, their fast growing, they have become very popular, especially in the construction industry, because they are used as props, they are used for so many issues. I'm also aware they are important in the tea sector. Again, so that's now a debate. Irene needs to engage those particular members of parliament from tea growing areas where they use eucalyptus for tea processing and for whatever other uses they need to. It must also be important, as we ban eucalyptus, she must also have an engagement, probably if there's an association of contractors or builders, so they have got that engagement. What substitute do you bring in this case? Probably with time, Honorable Speaker, it might be important for Honorable Irene Mayaka, again, to look at a segregated way of applying this prohibition. There are some areas that the eucalyptus has grown for many, many years. The adverse effects have been mitigated by adequate rainfall. There have been areas that are semi-arid or don't receive adequate rainfall, like my constituency of Funyula constituency. Obviously then, the growing of eucalyptus poses a very big danger on the survival of the few seasonal streams and probably the few water masses. So it is a debate that we couldn't conclude today. I would request that she engages further so that we are in a position to resolve this matter. As I conclude, Honorable Speaker, it is important that we need to continue the issue of afforestation in this country. We have so many hills in this country that are depleted of forest cover because of adverse economic activities. And truly, you as the Speaker, me and you share the border, and some of the hills between my constituents and yours are so bare that when I stand on top of Odiado Hill, I can see everything in Nyalenya Primary School and all over the place. So me and you must put our hands together that we populate those hills with the trees, indigenous trees, so that we protect the forest cover. Talking on the same matter, Honorable Speaker, there is matter of carbon credit program. And I thought in such an important bill, the chair of the Environment Committee would have been around, probably in the fullness of time. They need to educate Kenyans on how that carbon credit program works, and whether because of eucalyptus with the early maturing can actually be part of the solution or a program on this particular case. Honorable Speaker, in our villages, we use pit latrines in many places. And I want to give an example. I have a eucalyptus tree next to a pit latrine in my compound. And because there's a lot of water seepage, that tree has grown so fast, and probably then I want to lend credence
to the finding of Irene that eucalyptus tree knows how to extract water from underground. It's the tallest. One day when you come, I'll take you there, you take a picture so that you can send to Irene to confirm her fears that indeed this is the problem we have. But Honorable Speaker, in this country, we have introduced species that have become very invasive. If you go to northeastern and the Samburu areas, the so-called madenge tree, it was brought as a pinnacle for semi-arid and arid areas. It turned out to be a headache, a heartbreaker to many families. So that I want to urge the scientists who are involved in this introduction of new species, be it trees, be it any other plant, be it even animals of whichever nature, let us undertake adequate studies, do piloting process, so that whatever we eventually introduce into our environment is not harmful in the long run in order just to solve short-term issues. Thank you, Honorable Speaker. I support, and I want to urge her to engage further before you come to the committee of the whole House so that we make sure we tailor the amendment to suit the various ecological zones of the country of Kenya. Thank you, Honorable Speaker.
Well said. You need to plant more trees on especially Odiado Hills. Remember, you need to get the best species for Odiado Hills. The member for Moiben.
Thank you, Mr. Speaker, for giving me the opportunity to contribute to this motion by Honorable Mayaka. Mr. Speaker, personally, I am a very good farmer of eucalyptus trees. Basically, in my entire farm, I have planted so many of them because one, it is a very easy tree to plant, it goes very fast, and we harvest firewood coming from a rural area. The Kenya Power and Lighting Company is a very good customer because that is where it gets the poles for electrification. So, Mr. Speaker, we need to regulate the growing of these eucalyptus trees because we have been given the advantages, the disadvantages of growing these trees. But because people are not well informed, they are not well educated on what to do, the do's and don'ts, it becomes very problematic because it has quick wins. You grow eucalyptus tree within a short time, firewood is no longer a problem. You grow eucalyptus tree within a short time, you get people coming, you get millers, millers coming to purchase. So there is, given the cost of living in Kenya at the moment, and the scenario where you can plan and get, there is very fast return for investment, it becomes a very easy targeted tree to grow. So, Mr. Speaker, if this growing of eucalyptus is regulated in Kenya, it will go a long way because many people don't know the negative effects that it is part of when it is planted in wet areas. It consumes a lot of water, or it creates desertification. So, I think the most important issue here is to educate the masses and to communicate, and let the ministry, which does the environment, the Ministry of Environment, come out openly and do advocacy. They carry out civic education in the entire country and educate the farmers on the pros and cons of growing eucalyptus tree. In my constituency, for instance, Moiben, we have people have vast pieces of land. They grow maize, and aside from that, they also don't mind putting in eucalyptus in their fences or even in between their spaces in the land, because that is another source of livelihood. It's another source of making some extra coin, because you do it, you get market very fast. You will be having, the sawmillers going around buying, and it is not just cheap. It's not very cheap. You don't get little money. You get very good value for every tree you plant. For instance, you can even get up to 5,000 per tree. So you can imagine if you have 100 acres of land and you just decide, I am doing eucalyptus business, and in that case, you don't care what happens to the land after that, because most people live one day at a time. You do your bit, you harvest, you make money, you educate your children, you get return for investment, and life goes on. So, because we want to avoid such scenarios, let us make a very clear regulatory framework where we regulate the growing of this eucalyptus, or ban it completely if it is completely bad. Because for us who grew up in rural areas, where you are supposed to go for long distances to look for firewood, to go for long distances or where you have to struggle to make money, when the eucalyptus becomes an option, it is very easy to go for it. It is very easy to be comfortable and plant it, because at the end of the day, it will elevate your life, it will change your livelihood, it will educate your children, it will give you money, pesa mfukoni, and so on. So we need to establish a very clear framework and then go ahead and do advocacy. Create advocacy programs in every space, in every ward, in every constituency, so that people can be knowledgeable on how they are supposed to so that people can be knowledgeable on why they should not be growing eucalyptus in wetlands, in places where, in our rivers, and look for other options like bamboo trees and so on. So, Mr. Speaker, it is not about, it is so much about the knowledge. It's so much about not knowing. I am a member of parliament, I am a farmer, but I am also a victim, and I am guilty as charged because I also have a plantation of eucalyptus. It is because it is a source of quick gains, quick money. But how many of me are in Kenya? Because we are not, we might not be having.
How many years do you have to wait before you make this quick money?
Within 2 years.
Okay.
And it is very lucrative. It is within 2 years you get money, you get firewood, you get shade. You know, in places where tree growing is, where trees take a long time to grow, and people don't have information on that effect about the eucalyptus tree, it is easy for someone to think it is the best thing that can happen to you, because that is how you can make your easy money. But as I said, we still have people who even imagine in the process of dealing with climate change, in the process of wanting to plant many trees, they think it is the best to do eucalyptus because it grows very fast and you create more tree cover, because it is highly resistant and it survives as compared to other species of trees. Even when the rain takes time to, even if it takes time to rain, the eucalyptus trees has a very high survival rate. So, Mr. Speaker, I still want to thank Honorable Mayaka, and that we create a very clear framework, a clear regulatory framework, and also go out there and educate the masses, educate every Kenyan on the pros and cons of eucalyptus tree. And if they must do it, we designate areas where we can plant the eucalyptus. That's if it will not affect the environment. Otherwise, as per now, people still do it because it is the fastest way to get money, and the buyers are the people encouraging the farmers, the masses to grow the eucalyptus tree. Kenya Power and Lighting Company always is the first customer. They go around with big trucks buying. So who will feel that? Who is that who will sit back and say, I'm not going to grow eucalyptus when everybody else is harvesting? We still have issues of firewood in our rural areas. who will tell our mothers that eucalyptus is wrong if you can just grow within 3 years, you have sorted on issues, firewood. And firewood is a very important ingredient in the rural areas. People need firewood to cook. People need firewood in functions. You know, that is the source. All schools in Kenya, especially in my constituency, we use firewood to cook. So it's still a very, very easy target of income. It's still a very easy, it's still the cheapest source of income. The fastest source of income in every household, in every institution, in every village, in every constituency, particularly in my constituency. So, Madam Honorable Mayaka, I applaud you for taking that initiative to make sure that there is a framework which can be implemented and people can be educated so that they know and make a decision, make an informed decision on if they must grow this eucalyptus, where should they do it. Otherwise, Kenyans will still continue, and because it's a source of income, why not? And it's because it is going to shape their livelihoods, why not? And because it is going to put money in their pockets, why not? Because life is a process, and where you put bread on the table, that is what you go for. So we need a very clear regulatory framework, and we need to come out of our offices, especially the Ministry of Environment, and go to the villages and educate our mothers.
Well said, Member for Ben. This chance goes to the member for Bondo.
Thank you, Mr. Speaker. Mr. Speaker, yesterday when Irene told me about this bill, I asked her twice, because if you look at Nyamira, Kisii, I strongly believe that every person, every piece of land, whether it's a quarter acre or whatever, has blue gum. Entire Kisii, entire Nyamira. So when I asked her whether she was very sure about this, they said no. It could be true. There's quite a bit of havoc that this tree may be causing. But what happens to, like now, your county? What happens to your neighboring counties if at all we do away with blue gum? It's a hard question. It's a really hard question that requires quite a bit of soul searching. But for sure, one thing that we have in the country is that we don't do much in terms of background check, in terms of even the varieties, whether they are seed varieties, whether they are tree varieties, whether they are animal varieties, in terms of what we bring around. A lot of these exotic plants and animals definitely have issues in terms of our environment. So we really need to check in terms of this blue gum. Of course, they have brought in a number of varieties from one time to the other. They were saying that one variety was the cause of many problems. It was wasting land. The next one was consuming a lot of water. Then the next one, they say now there's a better species, matures quickly, it's from South Africa, and I don't know from where. Everybody is encouraged to grow for purposes of what was being said in terms of the economic returns. So if you look at all this, there are quite a bit of contradictions that go with it. But definitely, some background check needs to be on some of these species. A much more important thing is the whole issue of water catchment areas and what we call riparian areas, or what we call water towers. Definitely what we call water towers or catchment areas are the ones that have rain. They're the ones that have water. So if, again, you want to grow some of these trees in terms of where there's much water, then it means that it's the water towers that it is in the water towers that will be growing this kind of trees. Because when you're talking about riparian areas, which is a very big problem in this country, we don't know the extent out of a river surface or the extent out of a lake surface or some kind of a natural water. If you look at even the swamp areas, one doesn't know exactly how much out is riparian. Because the Constitution says, for example, in terms of the water levels, at the highest point you do some measurement. So if there's a way that people, even counties, could get people to realize that if you're talking about a river, and you're talking about in terms of the catchment or the extent at which the riparian goes, I think there needs to be marks. So that beyond the marks, you don't do certain things. And within the marks, you do certain things. I think until we do that, it's going to be a very big problem. Like now, it's going to be a very, very big problem. For example, if you are saying that you can't do or you can't grow blue gum in parts of the country, it's going to be a major, major, major war against the public. Like it has been mentioned, because people have been encouraged over a period of time that it's a source of income, and it is true it's a source of income. Everybody has grown it, and there's market for it. So if you want to do away with it, you must create a very serious alternative source of income for some of these places. Like I mentioned in Nyamira and Kisii, each piece has banana and blue gum. And of course they are doing that because of the kind of returns that go with it. So if we can take time to check in terms of what are riparian areas, where are they? Are they marked? What's the geography? So that people get to know that's the extent at which you can do certain things. And the other thing that we need to know is exactly the source of some of these species, tree species, whether they are seeds or whatever. Slowly we're getting to be dependent on all manner of seeds from external. Basically, seeds are coming from outside. We don't have any more of our own seeds, including the food crops that we are growing. So, Mr. Speaker, I think some kind of a search needs to be properly conducted around this, such that we don't get institutions that we are finding ourselves in. Some of the contradiction, again, is if you say that the plant takes 40 liters per day, what happens to that plant when there is no rain? Because if that were the case, then all of them will be dead in a moment, if at all there's a dry spell. So I think there are some of these things that really needs to be checked, even if we are to use them for purposes of convincing ourselves. They need to be checked whether these facts are right or wrong. Because definitely what takes 40 liters per day will definitely die when there's no rain. And if that happens, it means all of them will die minus us even debating about it here. So, Mr. Speaker, I agree that to an extent, some of these things need to be checked. I also agree that when we are trying to check on that, we must look at in terms of the kind of information and education we have sent out in terms of economic benefits of some of these trees. Mr. Speaker, so partly there's a lot of sense in terms of what Irene is bringing around. But on the other hand, there's quite a bit of a challenge that has to go with it in terms of how do you even implement it in the first case, unless you want to have it in the shelves and no agency is able to implement it. Thank you, Mr. Speaker.
Honorable Umi.
Thank you, Mr. Speaker. I would like to also support the bill of Honorable Irene Mayaka. And I think first it's important that we clarify this particular amendment will not be affecting tea farmers, as tea farmers mostly grow 500 meters from the riverbanks. So this is specifically targeting those who grow within the riverbanks as a way of protecting our wetland areas and water catchment areas. And the debate on climate change is very big, not just in our country, but globally. And it's important that we do our best, especially to stop any man-made contributions, like this particular activity of growing the eucalyptus along the riverbanks. And my urge would be that even after, because I hope this amendment will be effected, the Cabinet Secretary will be able to use this as a directive to come up with a framework that will guide the farmers and all the growers of the eucalyptus, and also serve as an example, because we've had challenges, especially what my colleague Honorable Oundo had raised. We are one of the people who have been highly affected by madenge trees, because somebody just thought of coming up with a proposal for semi-arid and arid areas and thought madenge is the best tree to make the arid areas become green, but our cows and goats ended up being toothless. And it has become not just a crisis to the environment, but even a human crisis. So such frameworks are very important. And I want to encourage my colleague and congratulate her on this particular bill. And I hope the members are able to support. But it's important that I emphasize, particularly on the clarification, that it will not have any impact on tea farmers, but rather
a holistic approach to supporting both the growers and a way to mitigate and protect our environment. Thank you, Mr. Speaker.
The member for Wajir North.
Thank you, Mr. Speaker. In supporting the motion, I want to put some few facts forward. Mr. Speaker, eucalyptus tree was imported into this country. So it's good to appreciate that it is foreign, or rather an exotic species or plant into our ecosystems or into Kenya as a country. And the adverse effects of importing plants without regard to environmental impact assessments, without regard to the impact they cause generally to the environment, is a matter of grave concern for this nation. Mr. Speaker, eucalyptus, in wherever it was supposed to be in its natural habitat, was supposed to be a useful plant or tree. But where it is in Kenya, its adverse effects outweigh its benefits environmentally. Mr. Speaker, what does eucalyptus tree do to our environment? One thing, it has what they call an allelopathy effect on the environment. What does that really mean? Releasing chemicals into our ecosystem, into our soil, that inhibits the growth of all other trees. So what it does, it will do well by itself, but it destroys the vigor, the biodiversity, the vitality of our environment in totality, degrading the environment in a very big way. So you can imagine having a tree that eliminates all other trees. And what is the consequent impact of eliminating other fauna or flora? The impact is it destroys many other livelihoods if it will destroy any other vegetation. For instance, if eucalyptus will be eliminating all other vegetation, beekeepers will be affected. They can't have the flowers to generate the honey we need as a form of livelihood. Pasture propagation or growth of pasture will equally be affected. So it will be a homogeneous stand of plant that does away with all other plants that we so need for our livelihood and sustenance. You know, it has a very dangerous taproots, uncomparable to other plants, that taps into our soils, even into the most barren of the asal soils. If you take it to Chalbi, it can get water as deep as, so deep, yet water from arid areas, barren soils. That is the consequences and the extent of the impact eucalyptus trees can cause. Mr. Speaker, this tree dehydrates our soil. And dehydration of soils is clear to everybody. When you cease to have water in our soils, you cease to have life in its entirety in our soils and our ecosystems. This is a tree that takes copious amounts of water from our soils, from ourselves, and even those that have good water sources. Eucalyptus can equally drain our soils and make sure that there are no more water in our soils. So it has that dangerous network of taproots that can go deep and dehydrate our soils. And when you dehydrate the soils, the impact are that you have also you also impact the chemical imbalance in our soil. So that is how dangerous eucalyptus tree is to our environment, Mr. Speaker. One other thing which I have said, it has an impact on the production of biomass. Eucalyptus tree ensures that it eliminates any other form of vegetation. And when you eliminate biomass, you are doing away with humus. You are doing away with so many aspects of our soil. Soil without biomass ceases to be soil but other things. So this is a very dangerous tree. Probably the intention of those who brought it to this country was for short gaze. But the gaze or the benefits to Kenyans is short-lived. Its impact outweighs the benefits of eucalyptus. And the best thing about eucalyptus is to do away with it, to remove it from the Kenyan soils. Yes, it has values. But what are the impacts? If it impacts the soils, remember the soil is the anchor of all livelihoods. And when something affects the soils, it is chemical balance, it is dehydration, the power to make sure that all other vegetations are eliminated. That is a dangerous species. That is a dangerous tree to have in Kenya, Mr. Speaker. That aside, eucalyptus has also health effects. Many say it has some medicinal benefits. But if it is inhaled in a diluted form, Mr. Speaker, nasally, through the nose or by the throat, it has serious irritation and respiratory effects on human health. Dangerous consequences. Many may tread that eucalyptus oil is good, but for sure, if you just inhale in a limited amount, it has dangerous consequences on human health in terms of nasal impact, the impact on the throat, and consequently our respiratory system. That which stops you to breathe is a killer tree, Mr. Speaker. It has also effects that cause coma, dizziness, seizure. It's a dangerous plant. It has serious allergic consequences on the human anatomy. So without much ado, and being an environmentalist myself, the cost-benefit analysis of having eucalyptus is such that its impacts outweigh its benefits. It is a tree that takes us towards desertification. It is a tree that will dry up our swamps, our aquatic ecosystems. So, for those who have brought it, just like the other tree that is a menace in Garissa and Baringo counties, it was not well thought. It was rushed. It was brought into this country without serious regard on the impact it has on our environment. Mr. Speaker, all I could say, it is better to have this tree out of our soils. Actually eliminate it. I know the gains are short-lived. Growing it over a short period of 2 years and harvesting it for Kenya Power and Lightning to have them as power. That is so minimal. But you can't enumerate the consequences it has on our environment. That which destroys the soil is never a useful thing. This is the destroyer of soils, a dehydrator of soils, one that fights biodiversity. And remember, biodiversity is internationally protected. There is an international instrument. This is a tree that is an enemy to biodiversity. So without much ado, this motion has come at the right time, and I entirely support that eucalyptus should be fought like any other enemy to our economy and our livelihoods. Thank you, Mr. Speaker.
The one thing the chair would not shy away from admitting is that every time Senate stands on a matter of environmental, you take us through a very powerful learning process. No wonder you came first class in your environmental class at the university. Thank you very much. I hope the country will use your expertise in this area in many ways. The Honorable Makali Mulu.
Yeah, thank you very much, Honorable Speaker. Honorable Speaker, even before I comment on this motion, I really want to join you in appreciating the presentation by the Honorable Member from Wajir North. Listening to him, Honorable Speaker, you confirm that this House has professionals who can articulate issues.
Serious, brilliant mind.
Serious professionals. So I want to thank him. Actually, I wish he is the person who seconded the motion, because he would have added a lot of value to the debate. But having said that, I want to join other colleagues also to thank Honorable Mayaka for this amendment bill. Honorable Speaker, you and me have been in this house for long, and you are very much aware that it is not easy to get a private member's bill going through this house. Most of our faster time, who has only been here for 2 years. So Mayaka, congratulations. This is a big, big milestone, and I can assure you, if you remain here for long, you'll have many, many bills going through and becoming acts of parliament. So I want to encourage you and thank you for the effort you put into coming up with this amendment. Honorable Speaker, I've listened to the debate, and I want to agree with those who are saying that the eucalyptus tree is a tree which has serious and advanced effects to the environment. But at the same time, there are also some benefits, and I must confirm that, Honorable Speaker, when I was a small boy, my own father did 1 acre of eucalyptus tree. And I remember that time, anytime we are paying school fees, he would cut them, sell, and my fee would be paid. And then within a very short time, it is sprouts out and you see other parts of the tree coming up, branches. And over time, even as at today, Honorable Speaker, that small farm has remained with those trees. Actually, we removed them from the farm last year because it made the whole area become very dry. So when people say it has negative effect to the environment, I agree. But we must realize, why are people planting this tree? There are economic benefits. People make money out of them. As I said, my father would cut them, get money and pay our fees. There are those who are saying they do them as a plantation to make money also. There are those who grow them for purposes of firewood. There are those who grow them for purposes of actually getting building materials. I can tell you for sure, Honorable Speaker, if you go to visit most of the areas in our region, the roofing, we don't use, the timber we use for roofing is actually eucalyptus tree. And, you know, I think because of lack of education, many people might not be having an idea whether it makes the area dry. And that's why I want to say that our research institutions like Kefri, they need to come up with other species of trees which can be an alternative, which can make sure that they provide the same benefits in terms of firewood, in terms of income, and in terms of building materials, but they don't then impact negatively on the environment. And this bill becomes very important. This debate is very important. This time we are debating, Honorable Speaker, because of what is happening in the world. You know that we have the COP29, where environmental issues are being discussed. And we are saying, because of some of the things happening around us, we need even these tree covers to make sure that we take care of the carbon in our environment. So at the same time, it can also be a man-making kind of investment. And that's why I agree with those who are saying, Honorable Speaker, because I did watch in the morning part of it, those who are saying that because of the way we have polluted our environment, those who have contributed hugely to that pollution should be able to pay for that pollution. So the issue of financing this issue of climate change should be done. And I got very worried when I saw that those who have contributed hugely to the pollution, like China, India, US, are not in attendance. So, Honorable Speaker, I think really, as a House, we need to support this motion, but encourage our KEFRI, because KEFRI is the research institute for issues of forestry, to come up with alternative sources of the things I've mentioned. In that case, we'll be helping this country, and we'll also make sure that our farmers then don't suffer. A member of this House, Honorable Speaker, has already reported that with her, she's a farmer. And she has been growing eucalyptus trees to make money.
So I'm sure even as you cut those trees or as you avoid planting them, we need to come up with another alternative so that she continues making our money. And if we go that direction, then Honorable Speaker will be able to help this country. So I want to appreciate this amendment, and I'm supporting it. And now I wish that we could fast track so that it comes to a third reading and it becomes law, so that we don't continue complaining about the eucalyptus tree. More sun is planted along our rivers. With this many remarks, Honorable Speaker, I support.
Karoli Omondi.
Thank you very much, Honorable Speaker. Let me begin by congratulating my dear sister, Honorable Irene Mayaka, for keeping this matter alive. I first came across this issue sometime in 1994 when I started drafting the Environmental Management and Coordination Act. It was actually one of those big issues that came up at that time, and we didn't quite deal with it. We thought we left it for regulations, but it's still coming up, and I'm happy it is still alive. Honorable Speaker, the little I know about eucalyptus is that there are 700 or so species of eucalyptus trees. And most of them are large trees, but also they are shrubs. So when you are talking of eucalyptus, you're basically talking about 700 plus species. Each, I think, would be distinct and unique in their botanical characteristics and how they affect or interconnect with other species within the ecosystem. And I think we are mostly talking about the gum trees generally here in this particular debate. Eucalyptus are native to Australia, which shows you some qualities that they have. They can withstand dry climate. And I think there lies the opportunity to have eucalyptus in Kenya. And I think that is one of the reasons why they were brought here as a species. They are not indigenous to Kenya. They are not native. They were actually brought in. And as a plantation tree. And if you look at much of Australia is very dry. And it is the eucalyptus trees that provide much of the vegetation. So as we demonize or as we debate what eucalyptus are, we should also acknowledge the good aspects. Generally, Mr. Speaker, ecosystems are interdependent. Species support fellow species. And eucalyptus, you know, support some insects, support some animals, but also create what we call ecological balance within the ecosystem, the equilibrium amongst species. So we may have issues with it, but we should not wholesalely condemn it or even remove it from the Republic as is being suggested. I think we need to be very clear what it is that we want to do. There is this debate, but it is not conclusive, whether eucalyptus consume a lot of water or drain water aquifers or rivers. I was just looking at some reports online, and one of the leading scholars from KEFRI is saying that eucalyptus only use water during photosynthesis, in other words, to produce wood. There's also a study that confirms that eucalyptus, in terms of producing biomass or wood fuel, it is the most efficient tree. And I think you've had other members also allude to that as a source of wood fuel. So it is important that we ask for further studies. My concern is, if we say we are banning it along rivers without specifying what the riparian is, I think there's a regulation somewhere of 30 meters from the center point of the river on either side. Yeah, that is what the riparian is. Or from the shoreline of the lake, what you call the low tide. But the problem is, what about the water aquifers, which are all interconnected underground and form the sources of rivers? What are we going to do with this? I think we need more study on this. And I think we need a definitive study as a house, or maybe from NEMA. We need an impact assessment report on what eucalyptus are and how they relate with water sources. Otherwise, it's very difficult you can see there's a problem, but you can't put your hands perfectly on it. So I would like to encourage Rene maybe to get us more scientific reference material before we get to the third reading so that we are better informed. But I am very happy you've kept this issue alive, and I think there's a problem. But I think eucalyptus have a big ecological benefit as well to our country that we also need to be alive to. With those remarks, I would encourage you to get us more scientific data, more scientific reports to read, so that when we say we burn it along rivers, we can know the distances, we can know how far we deal with water aquifers, how far we deal with other sources of water. Thank you, Honorable Speaker.
Thank you, Mr. Speaker, for giving the opportunity to speak on this particular motion. Mr. Speaker, I just echo the sentiments of my colleagues about the disadvantages of growing eucalyptus along the water catchment areas. As much as my colleague Carole has said that this particular tree has advantages that we should also consider, I submit that the disadvantages of growing this particular tree, especially along the water catchment area, outweighs its advantages. For instance, from the time the eucalyptus was introduced in this particular country, many people started growing this particular tree along the swamp areas, along the river banks, and the water catchment area.
Order, the Honorable MP for Mulanya. Order. The next time this debate resumes, you will have 9 minutes to contribute to the same debate. Under the circumstances, honorable members, the time being 1 p.m., this House stands adjourned until Wednesday, the 13th of November, 2024, at 2:30 p.m.